15 seconds.
This is Maggie Gray with an Odyssey Sports
Break-ins
Boxes.
in
If it's a
5
job
seconds.
Perloff looks at me and goes, the natty? Really? He said it was like someone calling something cool the bomb. I think people are still saying the natty.
This is not about hip or not hip. It's not like any 21-year-old walking in Brooklyn and saying the natty.
Do you call winning the championship the chip?
If you had said he's got 2 chips, oh boy, I would have really given you a look.
Washed has somehow maintained a much longer presence than it ever should have.
I get my lettuce at the grocery store triple wide.
This is the man claiming to be the coolest person on the show.
Whatever, I'm definitely hipper than Ack.
Ackerman,
I don't know
you
about
gonna
that.
take
I wouldn't go there.
Wearing a Ralph Lauren polo 3/4.
Yeah,
sure.
What's wrong with that? A little
You
class.
make Eli Manning look like he's ready to walk the catwalk at Fashion Week.
Who are you, Ralph Lauren himself?
When did the Mannings become fashion icons?
They did not.
Step off, Dad.
Here are Maggie and Perloff.
Draymond, why would ya? Costing your team last night, Perloff. What up? I know you were watching this game intensely. I know you have a lot of deep thoughts on the dust-up between Draymond Green and Domantas Sabonis last night. The top level, Kings take a 2-0 lead over the Warriors. What the story of the game is, though, is what happened between Draymond Green and Domantas Sabonis. They had been going at it all game. It had been extremely physical, just like it had been in Game 1. But Draymond, in my opinion, Perloff, crossed the line last night. As Sabonis goes down to the ground, and granted, Sabonis did grab at Draymond's ankle. Draymond, instead of doing anything else to get away from Sabonis, decides to use Sabonis as a human trampoline and jumps on top of his chest like my kid jumping on a trampoline.
Yeah.
And he got ejected from the game. Rightfully so.
Is this your first introduction to a guy named Draymond Green on the Warriors? How could you, Draymond? Because you've been doing this for a decade. Of course Draymond did this. And you know what? You can't have Draymond do stuff like that. And if you want Draymond to be the professional irritant, if you want him to lead you to titles, if you want him to be the bad guy, if you want him to be the tough guy on the team, you're going to get some of that. You have to live with it if you're the Warriors. That's what Draymond's act is. He's always done this.
No. But the best agitators, the best ones,
Right.
know, at least have a sense of where the line is.
What?
And Draymond, to me, doesn't obviously have a sense because that ended up being an important game, and it will end up being an important game. Going down 0-2, I know it's the Warriors. You think you can flip some kind of switch. Got news for you. This Kings team is for real. They're not going away.
Yeah.
So now to go down 0-2, Draymond doing this at this point in the game. This isn't a regular season game where you get your 16th technical and whatever. This is the playoffs right now. He cost his team, obviously, dearly in the finals against the Cavs in 2015. You could say he cost them a title back then. He might have cost them a first-round exit because with about 4.5 minutes left to go in that game, they needed Draymond Green, and he was too busy fighting with Sabonis and getting ejected.
Name one single professional irritant in the NBA, championship-winning tough guy who has not crossed the line, who had any idea where the line was. You can't go up to the line and then pull back because then you're a phony tough guy. Do you think Dennis Rodman knew where the line was and then didn't cross it? Get out of here. He crossed the line all the time.
Didn't cost Michael Jordan titles,
That's because he had Michael Jordan.
Well, Draymond is Steph
He
Curry.
cost one title. And by the way, Curry's knee was hurt that year. I'm not putting that 100% on Draymond.
They were up 3-1. You can't get suspended.
Yeah, I think if Curry was 100% healthy, it would have been fine. But we litigating 2016 here, or are we litigating last night?
I'm just saying this is a pattern, obviously, with Draymond.
Yes,
but
of course, that's Draymond Green. He punched out Jordan Poole this year, but you have to take the good with the bad.
See, I think, though, there has to still be some accountability. Like, not all of these things are created equal, right? Like, being an agitator, it's not all the same. And, like, punching Jordan Poole was horrible. Like, nobody...
Yeah, that was terrible.
It was terrible. And we talk about that Michael Jordan punched teammates, but you can't fetishize this stuff. And the fact that he punched Jordan Poole, but you could argue, like, listen, it was terrible. It wasn't game 2 of a playoff series in which you are actually the 6 seed here and the Kings are the 3. You're not the 1 seed walking in like you're the Warriors of old. This has been a different year in this particular championship defense.
I understand. And logically, of course, you're right. But I just think knowing Draymond Green, we've had a lot of time to watch him up close.
No doubt.
We've always known he cannot tell where the line is. If you turn it off and he just plays like any normal player, you don't have him. Look at every championship team. They all have tough guys, right? That's like a known thing. You need a protector.
Yeah,
they always cross the line. They always.
But to the point where it's been so costly.
Rodman, I'd have to look at it. You tell me Rodman never cost the Spurs, Pistons, or Bulls a playoff game? I find that hard to believe.
No, but this might cost them the series. It's possible.
First of all, they can't. Okay. They can't win on the road anyway, so I'm not sure that makes the slightest difference.
Yeah.
I think it's going to go 7 games because they're going to win all the games in Golden State. So I'm not sure that you could say this cost them the series. The other thing is this series, aren't the Kings maybe better off either way? I know the Warriors were coming back last night, but is this going to cost them the series, especially if they don't suspend them?
Let's take a listen to how it sounded. In case you were not watching the game last night, you had other things to do, whatever. This is how it sounded on radio last night, the dust-up.
Curry has the rebound. Sabonis on the floor, and he just got stomped on by Green, and a foul was called. And that may warrant an ejection. There was nothing subtle about that. He went to the floor, and Green in the tangle, it appeared to me like he just... I said stomped, and until I see a replay, I'm going to stick with that for the moment. But Sabonis is still down.
Listen, stomped was the right word. By the way, did that not sound like Rich Ackerman was doing the game, or am I crazy? It sounded like Ackerman.
In 20 years.
Back in 20 years doing the game.
Yeah, it had a little Steve Summers, too.
Yeah, it did. Hell of a call. Anyway, we loved it. So it was a stomp. It was egregious over the line. The idea that then Draymond, of course, goes right back to the bench where the Kings fans are yelling at him because now everything's under his skin. And he's yelling back. Did not want to de-escalate the situation at all. Got all of his money's worth. Got ejected. And now the question is, could he be suspended for Game 3? Because that's another way. We're going to find out from the NBA, I would imagine, pretty soon, Perloff. But that's another situation where if he gets suspended for Game 3, at some point, don't you have to throw up your hands? I know everyone, loves part of what Draymond does, but you can't love this. You cannot love this if you're a Warriors fan.
I think you have to live with it. I just think that's the reality of it, because you will agree there's been it took me a while to get Draymond because he doesn't score a lot of points, but he's going to be a Hall of Famer. His stats are not Hall of Fame worthy, but what he does for the team is Hall of Fame worthy. So
Defensive Player of the Year, all the
right, but once he scored 12 points a game, that's one of the lowest ever in the Hall of Fame. Maybe I'm sure he's in the bottom 10 scorers all time in Hall of Fame once he gets there. But there'd be no run without him. Probably. 4 championships.
No, I get it, but could it be 5? First of all, if he didn't get ejected when they were up 3-1
but that was 6 years ago.
And what have we learned in 6 years?
The other thing too, Robin. I was just looking. I'm sorry, Robin got suspended during the first round while with the Spurs. Then he left, I forgot, during the finals to go to Vegas.
Well, that was famous in The Last Dance.
Yeah, he got suspended so many times. He got suspended many playoff games, crossed the lines all over the place.
Okay, but that doesn't make what Draymond did last night any better.
But I just don't think you can have Dennis Rodman and Draymond Green and these guys. You know who, the worst stomp, the most famous stomp of all time was Christian Laettner.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry he happened to get away with that one, but he crossed the line. He clearly crossed the line. You need line crossers to win titles. You need dirty guys.
Okay,
that's how you win.
No,
and by the way, Sabonis crossed the line too.
So no accountability. And Sabonis got a technical.
Okay.
So no accountability. For Draymond and Green, all these years, all this stuff, thing after thing, the opponent, his own team, none of this is going to matter now. It doesn't matter. That's just Draymond, and everyone just throws their hands up.
Well, let me ask you this:
can't be criticized. That's crazy.
Of course, you can criticize him, but you can't be surprised that he did this. Here's a way of putting it: can you criticize him and then praise him when he causes the other player on some team to do a stupid technical or gets under the skin of the other team?
Well, he's gotten under the skin of Sabonis.
Well, yeah,
think.
or vice versa. Sabonis.
Yeah, Sabonis definitely
I hate
got
to
under
say
his
Sabonis is the Kings' Draymond Green.
Yeah.
You need these guys, and I think it's really, really hard to walk that fine line. If you told Draymond, I don't want any of that stuff, then he's not going to be effective.
Okay,
he
but
just won't be Draymond Green.
So you can't be Draymond Green unless you step on the guy's chest, or you kick LeBron James in the junk, or you punch Jordan Poole in the face. You can't be Draymond Green without that. That to me is crap. That is this is also professional sports. It's not street fighting. Like you understand, or you should understand, there's got to be a line.
Well, okay, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
You know this is who Draymond Green is.
Right.
Would you want him on your team?
He fills a very specific role for these Warriors. If you put Draymond Green on the Detroit Pistons, do you think that they are a Eastern Conference Finals team?
If you're a contender, would you want him on your team?
See, I guess I have to say the answer is no, and here's why.
Mm-hmm.
I think that he fits this team so well.
Right.
If I put him on any other team, am I getting the same thing?
What if you put him on the Lakers with LeBron James? It's a perfect fit.
But like filling the role defensively, I'm talking about just on the floor.
Right. I think he'd be perfect on the floor. A guy who doesn't need the ball in his hands on a really good team is very, very valuable.
Yeah. No, I understand it.
Like a contender. Basically, I'm saying contender to be the tough guy. And I think that there's other guys like this. Dylan Brooks is a little different, but I think he gets under people's skin, and he's always flirting with the line. I think you need these tough guys to flirt with the line. I'm sorry. And I used to be like you. I used to hate Dennis Rodman so much.
I was once like you.
I thought Draymond, I was so mad at Draymond for costing the Warriors because I don't know why.
It's so stupid.
It's so stupid, but I just realized with Draymond, you can't have both. For me, it's not one or the other. You can't say get up to the line and then just pull back because you'll just basically make him not Draymond Green.
855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. If you want to watch the show, you can listen to us, of course, across the country, CBS Sports Radio. It's an awesome listen, if we do say so ourselves. You can also watch the show. YouTube.com/CBS Sports Radio is where you can do it. The chat, the Weedos, the Purple Drinkers are up and running right now. Everyone weighing in on this. We also have a poll. You can vote. Did Draymond Green cross the line last night? Yes or no? That's right there. I thought this was funny from Danny Fowler in the chat. Adam Silver was in the stands in Sacramento last night. I thought about that because they panned to Silver, and then was it not 5 minutes later that here's Draymond stepping on Sabonis, Draymond screaming at the fans, and I was just praying they put the camera back on Adam Silver so we could see him vomit basically into his popcorn.
Yeah.
This is the last thing I want.
Feels like lately Silver won't do anything, though. He doesn't get heavily involved in this stuff anymore, does he?
He's super player friendly.
Yeah, or super hands off. Just let it work itself out.
So that's the question.
Yeah.
Game 3 suspension.
I know. When do we find out? We got to get somebody on. Do you know anyone back in the league where you used to work?
Actually, I know the person who was sitting right next to Silver.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if I could make this favor right now.
Yeah, we need to find out.
Can't do that phone call.
I'm going to tell you right now.
Don't worry, Paul. I'm not calling.
I'm telling you right now, the Warriors are going to win the next game.
Okay, the next game, but I might expect that.
And honestly, the real reason I think they are is nothing else except that they're going home.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
They're going home. I mean, natural sort of.
Yeah. It does not feel like a 4-game win for the Kings because these games have been really close.
Yeah, listen, even Sabonis' wife was quoted as saying, I think it's Kings in 6. Nobody thinks this is going to be a sweep.
Right, that's not a bold call to say the Warriors are going to avenge it. They're either going to win. If somehow they lose game 3, they're definitely going to win game 4 because to me, the big issue here has been the home court advantage too. And the other thing,
the Beam team, man, this is real. This was even on TV. I can't even imagine what it was like to be in the arena last night, and then especially after the Draymond Sabonis thing. But it was on 10 from the first tip. It was like
they're crazy.
It was like all the fans were left in the arena from like 2002, and they just couldn't wait to get back and boo the refs.
No, that's a huge advantage. And also, for some reason, the Warriors are not good on the road. Now, the Kings are actually pretty good on the road. The other adjustment, at some point, the Warriors are going to realize De'Aaron Fox is a lefty and shift their entire defense at that point. It's hard to do that, but I do feel like this now becomes a real big game of adjustments for Steve Kerr. What do you do here? I feel, and I will guarantee. Okay, that one I feel good about. The Suns are going to blow out the Clippers.
That's tonight.
Yeah, I just feel like a lot of these conferences, you know how you go game by game.
Yeah.
I feel like they're going to seesaw a lot, and I think the Warriors-Kings is going to seesaw it. I think the Warriors are going to have their moment, and then get back to Sacramento. It's going to be trouble.
Draymond Green is the topic today. 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. Was it over the top? Should he be suspended for Game 3? You could suspend him for Game 3. The NBA will not.
Oh, you think he's safe?
I do not think they will. I think that they have a case, and I think they should. I mean, at some point, there has to be a line. And the fact that his history has to play into this. And you can't just say, oh, it's just Draymond. So what? We're going to let him stomp, like literally stomp on a guy.
But what about Sabonis' obvious flop? After Draymond stomped on him, he was grabbing at certain parts of his torso that changed every 30 seconds. He couldn't decide where. It looked like a pro wrestler. I mean, come on.
It felt like pro wrestling last night, but real. Like, I don't think he was fit. Maybe was he milking the injuries a little bit?
Whoa, milking a little bit. It was a flat-out European flop followed by a complete fake injury. He looked like it looked like we were at WrestleMania. It was insane how much Sabonis faked it. How
much does Draymond Green weigh? For real.
250.
That's going to hurt.
It did not hurt.
The internet says 230.
It did not hurt like Sabonis was acting. Sabonis has learned from seeing Draymond all these years. He's learned the game. Sabonis that's a winning play by him to fake the injury. By the way, Draymond's a big flopper too.
They all are.
Yeah, these attitude guys all have the same moves. And honestly, Sabonis grabbed his leg, first of all.
Sabonis grabbed the leg, got the technical. Definitely was not completely blameless here, but does grab the leg equal let me put all my body weight right on your chest and then like catapult off of it?
We got to get this call because he knows what he's talking about.
Okay. 855-212-4CBS, 855. Pat, yes.
Yeah, by the way, Perloff, I'm 220. If you want to do a remake, I can stomp on you.
Well, am I going to grab your leg while you're trying to run away from me?
Yeah.
Right.
Wait a minute. Who gets to do the stomper or the stompy? Why does Pat all of a sudden get to stomp?
How much did you say you weigh?
220.
Ooh, you don't look like 220. 220.
Pat, are you juicing? Tell us now. We're gonna have an intervention.
Can neither confirm nor deny the juicing.
How tall are you?
Pat, get off that stuff. It's bad for you.
6 feet.
6 feet. 220.
Sure.
5'11".
Yeah. 5'10".
I am not 5'10". I am 5'11". That's a professional measurement. 5'11 and a quarter.
Yeah. What was there, a combine around here that we missed one day? Your professional measurement.
A professional physical.
Ah, there you go. Okay, wait. We're going to take a quick break. We see you guys on the phones. This is basically 50-50. This is right down the middle. And Perloff and I don't see this the same way. I think, Draymond, enough with this. Enough. It is so old, and it hurts your team. You think it's all fair because it's just Draymond Green's repertoire.
I just think Draymond, to be Draymond, has to do stuff like this. So we can't kill him when he does stuff like this and then praise him when he helps him win a title.
You guys get to weigh in on this. We want to hear from you. 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. You can also hang with us on YouTube, youtube.com/CBS Sports Radio. Pat, the chat wants to know your hand size. You guys have the worst minds. We're not doing full combine measurements on Pat Boyle today. We're doing Draymond Green, 855-212-4CBS. Your thoughts on Draymond? Did he cross the line?
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 3 minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. Minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff. Every great team needs an enforcer, Maggie. So there are guys like me who will just stand 3 feet beyond the three-point line and just fire up threes. I need a tough guy to keep the defenders off me. I need someone to get in the opponent's head. I'm not going to win the mental game against anyone. I need a Draymond Green. So I relate to the Warriors. You take the good with the bad. You're going to have these games that he's going to ruin by getting a flagrant 2 like last night. But you're going to get 50 games where he is the reason the Warriors won because of his mental warfare.
Do you really look at the Warriors dynasty and say to yourself, that is a dynasty because of Draymond Green?
No, but I think if you take Draymond out, you do not win 4 titles.
I think that is a affront to Steph Curry by saying that. I honestly, because look at when Steph was out just a couple years ago when he had his knee injury and Draymond was fully healthy and that team couldn't even make the playoffs. Yeah, they got the second overall pick.
But do you notice in this playoffs when Steph comes out of the game?
They're terrible.
They're terrible. No, Steph's the greatest. He's amazing.
I think it's an affront to Curry. Like, not to say they could have found another Draymond, because that's actually an affront to Draymond Green. That's not fair to him. But to say, like, hasn't Draymond cost them so much? 2015, punching Jordan Poole last night if they lose this series. So your title defense ends in the first round potentially against the Sacramento Kings, and all because they could have won game 2. It was there for them.
That being said, come on, you're going to put this all on Draymond. I mean, the team has been a disaster all season long, so it's not all Draymond too.
I get it.
You can't have it both ways. You just need that guy.
I think he crossed the line. Perloff thinks that he needs to play this way. We want to hear from you after he got into it, that is Draymond, with Domantas Sabonis last night. They got tangled up on the floor. Domantas Sabonis grabbed at Draymond's ankle. Draymond stepped on Sabonis' chest and catapulted himself off of Sabonis like he was a diving board.
Oh, my gosh.
And then he got ejected from the game. Is that not an accurate description?
No.
It is 100% accurate. I basically, if you had not seen the game, you just got it in your mind from what I said. Let's go to the phones. 855-212-4CBS. Jerome starts us off. He's in Myrtle Beach. What's up, Jerome? How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
We're doing great. Whose fault was it last night?
It was Sabonis' fault.
Tell us why.
Because this never would have happened. And you said he grabbed at his ankle. He didn't grab at his ankle. He grabbed his ankle. Draymond could have got hurt. He could have failed. Could have gotten hurt. And I think if they're going to throw Draymond out, they should have thrown Sabonis out. If they suspend Draymond, they should have suspended him too. He started all this. It takes two to tango. And I believe Draymond was treated unfairly on this one.
All right, Jerome. One on the board for blaming Sabonis. Yes, he did grab the ankle.
Yeah.
But to say that Sabonis started it, this had been an incredibly physical game, basically from the jump.
Right. I mean, I think the Kings were probably the more physical team, too. So they've been getting an advantage. Did you hear after the game, Kerr was all but begging the officials to start giving the Warriors some calls, saying the Kings they've been letting the Kings be too physical. But I think that's a really good point. Well, I think maybe, and I don't think we have news on a suspension yet. If Draymond does not get suspended, part of the reason will be because they don't want to suspend Sabonis, because he's definitely a fault. That's a common rule. You cannot grab at a dude's leg, because injuring a guy's leg is the worst thing you could do.
I understand, and there was a free throw discrepancy last night. Pat, what was it?
29-18 in favor of the Kings.
Okay, so I understand the Warriors, but the Warriors don't just have the referees to blame for last night. They were incredibly sloppy with the basketball. They were turning the basketball over. And to be honest, in terms of who started it and who was more aggressive, yes, the Kings were, but that was just an incredibly physical game. Sabonis was getting raked across the face. I mean, all the hallmarks of a really physical basketball game happened last night.
And that's why I'm betting on the Warriors for Game 3, because I think Kerr was working the officials, and I think it'll work.
Probably.
There was some home court. That home court had to affect the officials. It was a mob scene. It was great.
Decal is in California. Decal, what's up?
How you guys doing, man? Listen, I don't want to say this, but I'm going to say it. Draymond's got to sit down. He was at fault for this one. He's like that. He went too over the line with that one. Wasn't even slick, wasn't even sly about it. Could have been smarter about it. I agree with Perloff. Without him, we wouldn't be talking dynasty. But listen, man, you live long enough, you becoming the villain.
You're right, by the way, right. Decal. He totally could have sneakily sort of stomped on him. He didn't have to make it so obvious. I totally agree with that.
Listen, we all know those big dogs who think they're smaller than what they really are. So when they try to climb on furniture or hop in your lap, it's like, bro, you're too big to be doing it. That's Draymond. Like, everyone's watching you, bro. Anything you do, come on, man. You got to be smarter than that.
Well, see, Decal, that's a good point, and thank you for the call, because you can't just take the Draymond situation last night in a vacuum. He comes into the game as Draymond Green. That comes with all the baggage. And then the game got physical, and then the thing happened between him and Sabonis, and then he goes over to the crowd, and it's just him screaming expletives at the crowd. Of course he was getting kicked out of that game. Only Draymond maybe in his mind thought he wasn't getting kicked out. Everyone in the world knew he was getting kicked out. The question is for Game 3. The league, I think, would have every right to suspend him, but I don't think they will. They want this to go away.
Yeah, I think the Sabonis thing is an issue, though, because what are you going to do with him? You're not going to suspend him for grabbing a guy's ankle.
No.
But you can't let Sabonis get off totally free. He did start it. He started that play.
But
first he flopped on the box out, trying to draw a foul.
We'd have to go back to literally tip-off of the game to find out who actually started it.
No, but that play, one of the little guys boxed out Sabonis, and he hit the ground trying to flop for a foul. And then when he got down there, he grabbed Draymond's leg. So he started that initial play.
Yeah. Decal also with a good point. Not slick at all.
No. You got to hide that stomp.
Yeah, no, that was Indomitian.
There's probably 100 Draymond stomps that we're not talking about because we didn't notice them.
How about Pete is in Madison, Wisconsin. Pete, what's your take?
Hi, Maggie. Thanks for taking my call. My take is that Sabonis started this thing by grabbing at Draymond's leg, and whatever resulted from that was Sabonis' fault. His focus when he was on the ground, that play was still live. He should have been thinking about getting up and helping his team. Instead, he thought about grabbing his opponent's leg. Draymond stumbled, and his foot landed on Sabonis. It's not his fault.
Well, wait. Even I'm defending Draymond. He didn't stumble and his foot landed on him. He jumped on him.
I watched it in slow motion like 5 times. He stumbled.
Okay, but
he had
here's
no
the thing.
control over where his foot was landing.
Pete, I know what you're talking about, where the left foot kind of jars a little bit, but when the right foot goes on Sabonis' chest, Draymond didn't at that point have to put all of his weight and literally catapult off of the guy's chest. There's a better way to get around that.
Had somebody grab your leg though and try to yank away from it, you're stumbling. You have no control over where your foot's going.
Wow. So Pete, you think Draymond completely innocent in this whole thing? He didn't do anything.
Look, I didn't watch the whole game. I saw this play. I can't tell you what was going on and what led up to it. But I think in a vacuum, looking at this individual incident, I don't think Draymond was at fault here.
All right. Pete, thank you for the phone call. Appreciate that.
Yeah. You hear that, Maggie? I do think there was some intentionality with Draymond did at the end. I think he was frustrated. But have you ever been in a little bit of a scrum like that? Of course, you sort of kick out of it. It feels, I think I've seen my kids do that to each other.
Yeah, right.
Like one kid grabs
Wrestling
the other and they
remote.
kick it out. Yeah. Yeah, I do think it wasn't a total accident. And Draymond after the game said that he's not limber enough to step anywhere else, which I thought was a very funny line.
Yeah, we have that actually.
Yeah.
Let's hear a little of what Draymond had to say after the game.
My leg got grabbed. Second time in 2 nights. Referees just watch it. I got to land my foot somewhere. And I'm not the most flexible person, so it's not stretching that far.
So you didn't really see where you were stepping? You just kind of...
I can only step so far and pulling my leg away. So it is what it is.
Yes, professional athlete can't step 3 feet away from himself, but sure.
Can you at least appreciate the fact that Draymond Green refused to take this seriously after the game and was almost laughing because the dude grabbed his leg?
Okay, but that's also, he's got to be smiling through this because he's got to be praying that the NBA doesn't come down with suspension. That's why. He's trying to no big deal, like, hey, what was I going to do? I couldn't do anything. And that's going to be his case if he indeed gets to plead one.
I think he would have been more serious. I don't think he really cares. I think he's got such an attitude about this thing. I think he's mad that the officials did not call the leg grab.
But they did.
Right, but originally they only called it because Draymond stomped on him, as far as I know. I mean, they weren't going to call that otherwise.
Who knows? They did stop the play, but
yeah,
it was bang bang. Like
either way, right. So he was mad. But here's the thing: I think the Warriors can win Game 3 without him anyway. So if they suspend him, that's not the death knell for the Warriors, is it?
But think about what you're saying there.
I understand. No, I totally understand.
That if you're a professional athlete, the goal is to be available for the team in the playoffs, not to be so out of control that you know, all right, I'm going to do whatever I'm going to do, and then results or consequences be damned because I'm who I am, and this is the only way I can play. But ultimately, I could be hurting my team. Now, again, I don't know if the NBA is actually going to suspend him. I think they love this, right? I think they love how great the crowd is. I think they love how a rivalry between the Warriors and the Kings would be awesome. Geographically, it's great. Like, there's a million political reasons why they wouldn't suspend him. But, I mean, if Draymond actually doesn't care if he gets suspended, that would be the biggest indictment on him.
I think to be Draymond Green, you have to have a different set of priorities. I mean, we've seen it so many times throughout the years. What other NBA player doesn't want to shoot other than Draymond? Maybe PJ Tucker on the Sixers, but he is such a unique character. To be Draymond, I don't think you could be 75% Draymond.
855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. We will let you know what Steve Kerr had to say about that coming up in just a little bit. Meanwhile, you can vote on our poll. Did we put out on Twitter too?
I did. I did.
The Perloff side poll, the famous side poll.
I just put out a simple question at Andrew Perloff, and we'll retweet it from
Is Maggie wrong?
No. I just wanted it very simple. Who started it? Sabonis or Draymond Green?
That's a loaded one.
Because I think I get an advantage.
You definitely do with who started it.
So you're admitting Domantas Sabonis, your hero, started it?
No, but the thing is, they've been going at each other all night. Sabonis was definitely not not innocent here. But
Okay.
did it necessitate someone, basically just like jumping on your chest?
So I kind of cheated with my poll question, is what you're saying, which I'm proud of myself. I bet you know what? A lot of people are mad at Draymond. Maybe Sabonis will win anyway.
855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. That's at Andrew Perloff, at Maggie and Pearl on Twitter, at Maggie and Perloff on Facebook, Maggie and Perloff on Instagram, Maggie and Perloff the breakfast cereal, Maggie and Perloff the flamethrower. Okay, coming up next, we'll give more of your phone calls on Draymond Green. Also, a perennial NFL playoff team makes a trade. How much will it help? We've got that, plus some potential movement at the top of the draft. Get to that as well. Don't move. More Maggie and Perloff after this CBS Sports Update with Rich Ackerman.
Sports Flash.
The DeMar Hamlin comeback took a big step forward today with the news that he has been cleared to resume football activities in full. Taking part in the Bills' voluntary workouts this week, he was cleared by 3 separate specialists. Kawhi Leonard is a 2-time NBA champ with a pair of finals MVPs, and his 32 points in Game 1 lifted the Clippers to victory over the Suns Sunday. Leonard has also had a share of major injuries. He missed last year to a torn ACL and was encouraged by Sunday's performance, but acknowledged the long road to a title.
Felt good, but it's just another game, and, it's a title on it now. So, and like I said before, you have an opportunity to, win a championship. So we got to give it our all. It's just game 1, so we got a lot to do.
The Celtics look to go up 2-0 on the Hawks tonight. Game 2 in Boston, while the Cavaliers try to even things up with the Knicks on their home court. The Stanley Cup playoffs open with 4 games last night, 4 more tonight, starting with the Rangers and Devils at 7 p.m. Eastern time. And baseball right now, the Tigers have just defeated the Guardians 4-3 in the bottom of the 9th. I'm Rich Ackerman.
Coming up later on the Zach Gelb Show, we recap Kings Warriors, get you set for Clippers Suns, and have playoff pucks to talk about. It all gets started 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 Pacific.
CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 2 minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
All right, Maggie, can I drop an analogy for Draymond Green to help bolster my case that Draymond Green, while at fault for technically stomping on Domantas Sabonis' chest,
Yeah, technically.
my point is you're going to have Draymond crossing the line for him to be an effective player. Dave Chappelle. You love Dave Chappelle. We all love Dave Chappelle. There are things, well, maybe you don't, okay?
No, I do love Chappelle.
His act. But there are things in his act that you
don't like.
You don't like.
Yeah.
But you can't tell Dave Chappelle, give me 80% of Dave Chappelle.
Right. Okay. However, Dave Chappelle, though, also has gotten like backlash for some of the things he said. So it's not without consequences. Just like Draymond can do this, but it's going to be with consequences. And the difference is, like, I'm sure Dave Chappelle does have a team, quote unquote, managers, agents, all that. But like Draymond has an actual team where guys are actually wearing uniforms together and all trying to win. His actions hurt the whole team.
Right.
Dave Chappelle's actions only hurt Chappelle, really.
It is a good distinction. But if you told, imagine you were Coach Draymond Green and you told him, like, don't do this kind of stuff. I don't know if you would all of a sudden have a less effective Draymond Green.
Okay, but that's part of being a coach, isn't it? Like, isn't that part of understanding how to light the fire without burning the building to the ground?
Yeah, I don't know. Draymond, clearly Draymond, he's been at this a long time. Clearly there is no off switch.
No, and I think he and Kerr get into it all the time. Like, I think their relationship, while one, I'm sure, based on respect and love and all that, I think they get into it a lot.
Yeah, but Kerr is not shy about crediting Draymond Green.
No, of course not. But the issue is, like, when it comes in these really high profile moments, and the Kings, like, this is a fun team to watch, and they're not messing around. And they might have caught the Warriors in a year where the Warriors can't win a game on the road, and the Warriors look a little bit vulnerable. Now, granted, after Draymond got kicked out, the Warriors, like, put up a really valiant fight there. I mean, Klay Thompson hit back-to-back threes, huge. Curry hit a huge shot. I mean, they're not going to go away quietly, but not having Draymond on the floor definitely hurts.
Yeah, I mean,
we'll see if he gets suspended. We have no idea.
You look big picture. Is this the end of it too?
What, the Warriors?
Yeah, so Draymond could be gone, and I guess Klay will still be there, but this is a shadow of Klay defensively. So the Warriors, we might have seen the end of the Warriors. I think that's, if they lose this series and it's, say, 5 games.
Well, also, does Draymond really want, like, the max that he can get?
I know. I feel like Draymond could leave.
Listen, I think he could leave too.
Yeah.
I don't know why he would want to, but if the core is going to break up or if someone's going to give him max.
The core seems like it's breaking up. I don't actually have all those numbers in front of me, but if they can't come back in the series, then the Steph, Clay, Draymond. I mean, listen, they whiffed on James Wiseman.
Yep. He's already gone.
They had all these picks. I think they're not really succeeding in rebuilding the dynasty. They're not going to be able to do it on the fly. I don't think.
Well, hard for me to say that when they literally are the defending champs.
Yeah, I know.
That's.
I know.
The body's not cold yet, Perloff. I mean, technically, and they're not dead yet. They're down 0-2.
Well, and I said already they're definitely winning the next 2 games at home.
It's possible. Am I ready to declare the dynasty over?
If they lose this series, say they lose I'll give you 6 games.
It's embarrassing. I'll give them that. It's embarrassing.
Well, they're the 6th seed. I mean, they're losing to a better seed.
But it's embarrassing that they wouldn't have put up a tougher title defense.
Maybe they're getting old.
Well, I mean, that's part of, at least the team will tell you, I think that's a little bit part of why their road record is so bad.
Oh, yeah.
They don't want to be on the road. I don't even know if that's true or possible or just the lamest excuse ever, but they just want to be home.
And maybe that's why Draymond's so grouchy. You know, he's always got dad energy.
He's just old. Go to the phones, 855-212-4CBS. Let's go to our buddy Mike in California. What's up, Mike?
Hey, guys. How's it going today? Welcome back, Maggie.
Oh, thanks, Mike. How you doing?
I'm doing good. So here's the deal. I know Perloff's been making a big deal about who started it. The bottom line is that anybody who's ever watched sports or played sports knows it's never the guy who starts it that gets caught. It's always the second guy that retaliates and gets in trouble.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's a lot of discipline that has to come into the fact that if you're going to be that kind of player like Draymond, don't get him right after it happens. You get him on the next play or 2 plays later. Perfect example is Adama. He was still a dirty player. He just learned that I'm not going to get you this play. I'm going to get you the next play. And look how all of a sudden he's a much cleaner player than he used to be. No, he's not. He just learned the discipline of knowing how to do it if you're going to be that kind of player. I don't have a problem with what Draymond did. It's just the fact that don't do it when you're going to be the retaliator because you're going to get caught. They're already looking that way.
Yeah, Mike, I love this advice. Don't be an outward psycho. Be an inward psycho. You got to be able to hide how much of a psycho you are.
For every time Draymond's gotten caught.
It's worked for me for years.
Yeah, Mike, but every time Draymond's been caught, he's gotten the other guy to get in trouble 10 times. He's the ultimate instigator. So many people have been caught in the second act against Draymond through the years.
I know, but he's cost his team too, dearly.
So look, he gets caught as an instigator a little bit, but usually the guy he's instigating gets way worse.
That's what I mean.
He actually fell prey to his own medicine last night.
Man,
yeah, I know. Sabonis basically was Draymond for the Kings, and that's how you win basketball games. You need that jerk.
Mike, thank you so much for the phone call. A little later in the week, we'll get Mike's menu for the weekend.
By the way,
putting great recipes in the chat.
Christian Laettner had the cheapest stomp ever.
And Dominican Sue had a pretty bad one.
Well,
Thanksgiving, I believe.
I'm just sticking to basketball.
Yeah.
I mean, so Christian Laettner, probably the most famous basketball stomp of all time. I mean, he was the winningest college basketball player, arguably ever. One of the great you need that kind of attitude and that edge. I mean, it's terrible.
Okay, but if Christian Laettner had the stomp and had also, kicked Chris Webber in the junk and got ejected from the championship game, then we would think of Christian Laettner as a super dirty player. Maybe some people still do. But Draymond has many things.
Well, Laettner called his documentary, Everybody Hates Christian Laettner, because of the stomp. Everybody hated him. Yeah, he was super dirty, and he was super cheap, and he was super aggressive, and all those things.
Yeah, but and listen, Draymond will be remembered as a winner, too, but he's remembered as for these, cheap shots, cheap moves.
Yeah, so it's Laettner, everybody hates Christian. Laettner was the same exact thing. All this type of player is always like that.
And Mike's right, too, about Ndamukong Suh. I don't think Sue became less of a dirty player. I do think he started to hide it, and he played in the league for another 10 years.
Well, the ones was it Hainsworth that kind of ruined his career because the guy got I think it was Garrod got hurt bad.
And Hainsworth also was his own worst enemy.
Yeah. I mean, so right. Sue was an Eagle last year, for gosh sakes. Was he?
Was the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I know.
Won a Super Bowl with Brady.
He's always around these good teams since he left Detroit. It's bizarre. And he won with the Rams too. Yeah.
No, he won with the Bucks.
Was he on the?
I don't think he was on the Rams team.
Was he?
He's on the Bucks team though.
Okay.
Dan's in Michigan's got a thought on Draymond. What's up, Dan?
Hey, how you guys doing today? Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
Hey. I just have to say, Perloff, that is an aggressive take that you need guys stomping on people to win games. I might have taken you too literal. I might have done that. But I think it's more of the head games, like you said. The hard fouls are okay, but when you start, using a guy's body like you're on a pogo stick, I think, it's a little too much.
Yeah.
So on this one, I have to go with my girl, Maggie May. I just want to say I love your guys' show, and thanks for all the good entertainment.
Oh, thanks, Dan. Appreciate that. Pogo stick is a good visual because that's what it was like.
Yeah. Honestly.
What if he had pogo stick, trampoline, diving board?
Draymond was not good. It was not a great Draymond moment because he should have been much sneakier. And I know he knows how to do it. He was so obvious about it, but he was so. Guys grab your leg. That is, that's a no-no
okay,
in
but
sports.
Let's also grab your leg. It was like a half grab. It didn't really. It didn't really grab the leg. It wasn't like, it wasn't in the finger four leg lock or whatever, the Kurt Angle move. It's not, call it what it is.
Yeah, but guys get really sensitive about that. By the way, Sue was with the Rams in the Super Bowl. They lost to the Patriots. That's why I was confused. Yeah. So, I mean, the dude's been in a lot of Super Bowls.
He's rebounded nicely.
Bizarre where, and even Sue, the dirty play, it's a little different because Sue was so talented. Guys like Draymond, who they don't have, they're not Shaq. They're not going to win on talent alone. I think you need those guys. Maybe I'm wrong, but if I had a great, talented young team, I would always want to bring in this tough guy who flirts with the line about rules. I want to play with that guy.
Does LeBron need that guy?
I think sometimes he does. I don't know.
But he doesn't have that guy.
Well,
who was it?
Okay. Well, I would think J.R. Smith jumps to mind, but I don't know.
J.R. Smith didn't even know what day it is. He's the enforcer. Does he even know what game? He doesn't even know what game it is, what the score is.
Dellavedova was probably dirty. Who's a dirty guy?
Not an enforcer like that.
Yeah, but who is? They probably did have a dirty guy. Tristan Thompson? I'm not sure.
No, not Thompson. It's not Bosch or Wade.
Oh, and on Miami,
I'm just thinking throughout his career.
Yeah, that was definitely Haslam.
Haslam, and maybe in the Miami years.
Basically, if you mess with LeBron, Haslam would punch you so hard you would forget that you ever messed with LeBron.
Jeez.
But
who would be the enforcer on this show?
The enforcer on this show? Well, I guess Pat weighs.
I know, Pat's weighing in at 220.
So
it's not me or Samter, that's for sure.
Self-proclaimed. I don't think
it ain't Perloff. Maggie, you're the enforcer.
I don't think it's me.
It might be Maggie.
I don't think I'm up for that kind of job.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
I would stick up for us.
You're tough, but I don't know if you have the brute force to hold off.
I know. Maybe Townie Maggie, my alter ego. She would wreck anybody.
Off a couple of shots of Casamigos?
Well, those are usually for relaxing. But yes, when Townie Maggie arrives, look out, ladies.
I cannot fight anybody at all because
all those pickup basketball games, you never got in a fight?
I've been in a few fights, but I've broken every single finger on my hand. If I punch, right now I'm dealing with. I'm still taping up my fingers.
What is that? What are you, JPP?
Jeez.
Let's not go that far. I have my right fingers.
Yeah.
So I hurt my finger playing basketball 3 weeks ago, and then I
remember.
I redislocated it again last week.
Oh man.
Doing laundry.
You should have left that part out.
Yes, that's like an MLB pitcher who cuts his hand because he opened a sliding glass door the wrong way, and it's obviously such BS.
Hurts his back picking up his toddler.
Yeah, right.
And Maggie, didn't Lindor break his pinky finger last year closing a hotel door room?
It's so stupid.
That
just tell us the lie.
No, but that one I could see happening. Those hotels when they slam.
Okay, sure.
How about guys, and I know this is true, people have got serious injuries sneezing. That's the worst, and it's definitely true.
Okay, that has to be a sign you're old. How did you hurt your finger?
No, they're young athletes who've gotten hernias, sneezing. It's happened all the time.
How can you have that violent?
So I dislocated my finger because I went to steal a pass and was rocketed in.
No, the basketball I get.
So
the
no,
laundry.
because here's the issue. My right pinky is structurally unsound. It's really bad.
Okay, I didn't mean to laugh there.
I definitely need to go see a doctor, and I definitely need surgery.
Okay.
But surgery means I'll be out of basketball for 6 months, so I'm actively avoiding the doctor.
Okay.
Eddie, what do you guys think of this?
But you didn't answer my question. You didn't answer my question. How did you become unstabilized doing laundry?
Oh no! It's unstabilized for basketball. It keeps dislocating, doing everyday things. So I picked up a towel or something, and I curved my hand around like this, and the rest of the fingers came back. The pinky did not come back.
Oh no!
I like Brian Baldinger fingers now. It's really bad.
God. Puke. I mean, not Baldy. He's awesome. But the fingers are gross.
Yeah, I mean, listen. If you've seen the X-ray, right? It's disgusting what's happening.
You did show me the X-ray. It's pretty gross.
Yeah, like
but the fact that you hurt your pinky finger doing laundry just feels like a low moment for the show.
No. But I didn't hurt it doing laundry. I re-hurt it. And by the way, I think I've dislocated 3 times. I think once I was scratching my back and it dislocated. Like it doesn't like I can pick up a fork and like we're going to the ER. It's not good.
This is bad stuff. All right, one quarterback's draft stock is plummeting. Is it real or a smokescreen? We'll tell you.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Five seconds remaining. 30 seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
My favorite donut is the cinnamon and sugar covered ones.
Wow. I have to admit, you're picking a low seed.
Why? I stand
I
by
feel
it.
like if we could find a ranking of donut flavors, I imagine that's not top 5.
My favorite all time is like an apple fritter, but I didn't think that was traditional donut.
By the way, I think I know what an apple fritter is, but I'm not exactly sure what an apple fritter is.
Literally turned his chair away from me. Like, what am I doing?
Okay.
True story. I once took one out of the freezer because I wanted to eat one so badly, and I couldn't even wait until it got unfrozen, and I bit into it while it was still frozen. I was like, I have a problem.
The excitement you had about that frozen apple fritter story
I thought
was
I was really going to
unbelievable.
share something with you guys, some vulnerability about the time I
You
went
don't even know what apple fritters are, man. They say, what's your favorite kind of donut? A Kit Kat bar.
Here are Maggie and Perloff.
What up, what up? Crazy times happening in the NBA. Draymond Green, Domantas Sabonis getting into it last night. Tussle on the floor in a very physical game that the Kings win, go up 2-0 on the defending NBA champs. And as Sabonis sort of grabs at the feet and ankle of Draymond Green, Draymond then steps on Sabonis's chest with his right foot and launches himself sort of off of Domantas Sabonis. They both get text. Draymond gets the flagrant 2. He gets ejected from the game. We're waiting to see whether or not he's going to get suspended.
Yeah, you forgot the part where Sabonis faked like he'd been hit by a chair in WrestleMania. I mean, come on.
Well, I mean,
Would you think that Sabonis was acting at all with his writhing in pain afterwards?
what do you think it feels like when someone who's 250 pounds steps on you?
I think, first of all, Domantas Sabonis is also 250 pounds.
7'1", yeah.
Yeah, I think that hurt a little bit, but I think there were 20 other things that hurt more that night. I think he was acting. Not only that, because he had already flopped to go down. When he went down to the ground, he was trying to get the call on the box out. So he was already in flop mode.
Listen, you play for a franchise where Vlade Divac is one of the most pristine, esteemed players in the history of the franchise. You better be flopping out there. It's part of the DNA.
Your dad's one of the greatest European players, I guess Russian players of all time. Yeah, that's, you're basically a European player, so they flop.
Everyone flops in the NBA now. Everyone does, including Draymond.
Draymond's a great flopper. I know. That's why Sabonis.
He's a better flopper than he is, stepping on somebody's chest.
I know. Sabonis, Draymond.
Yeah, he did.
Okay. Here's the only thing. This is not that serious of an issue. In my mind, Draymond punching Jordan Poole, that was terrible. That was a real issue. I did not like that at all, obviously. Yeah. But this little stomp, this is a little tussle. It's a basketball fight.
Yeah.
That was nothing. I mean, they could easily get away with not suspending him, and I don't think it would be a big deal. If they suspend him, fine. I get it. He did stomp on him. But it's not like...
This is like
he crossed some basketball line that you can't do that.
That didn't cross a line. Where's your line? That's calling it a bank robbery. Like, I took some money out of the bank. I mean, it's a little different.
Right, but it's not like Rudy Tomjanovich getting cold cocked. I mean,
that's the bar. That's like one of the most horrific moments in the history of sports.
It's just not that big a deal. And the fact that I like that Draymond was kidding about it afterwards.
Of course he is. He's hoping that this whole thing gets laughed away, poo-pooed away so he can play in game 3.
No, I think he's laughing because he's like, this is stupid. This is just basketball. This is not that huge a deal.
That is so crap. This is just basketball. Stepping on someone. Why doesn't it happen 5 times a week if it's just basketball?
Just obviously grabbing a guy's leg is not just basketball either. But this is just.
And he got a tech for it.
Guys tussle all the time. They push, they shove. It's not the end of the world.
It just happens all the time. I forgot that random Wednesday night game where guys were stepping on each other's chest all the time. Like, it happens. It never happens. That's why this is such a big deal.
This is not Jeff Van Gundy biting Alonzo Mourning's ankle. That was like, honestly, if that happened in a regular season game, would we care? If it wasn't a high profile. If it was a Detroit-Cleveland game in February and somebody did that would have been such a non-story.
I think the player would get suspended. See, this is where Draymond's celebrity might actually help him. because he's infamous because of all the dirty stuff going back to, well, his whole career, but cost the Warriors the title in 2015, the stuff with Jordan Poole, a million things in between. But this is where his celebrity might help him, because I think the NBA is going to be very strategic here in trying to make sure that they have the best possible matchup in the playoffs. And I don't know if they'll think that they should suspend him. Is that very? I'm kind of conspiracy theory a little there.
Yeah, no, I think you're probably right. I just don't think that they think in this moment, this is not. I think the league says this is not a moment where we need to suspend him. It was close enough because Sabonis was also got a tech. The fact that Sabonis also got penalized gives them the green light to not suspend both of them. It's curious. Remember that when he did get suspended in the finals, he could not stop kicking guys in the groin.
I know.
It
happened in the series before to Steven Adams, right?
It became a compulsion. It reminded me of when Grayson Allen was at Duke. He could not help sticking his foot out.
Yeah.
It was bizarre. It was almost like a compulsion. And actually, Grayson Allen, to his credit, figured that out. Now he's this bizarre player that's like really good at times. I can never figure him out. But to be Draymond Green, I don't think you can be a well-behaved Draymond Green. I just don't think it will work. Like, why do the Warriors want that? Even if he gets suspended a game, it's worth it.
Oh, that's crazy. 855-212-4CBS. So you're welcome to weigh in on what happened last night. In the meantime, flipping over to the NFL for a second, Perloff, this has been one of the more curious developments going on over the last maybe 2 or 3 days. All of a sudden, this CJ Stroud sort of plummeting, if you will, in terms of his draft stock. Let's not forget, was it not 3 to 4 weeks ago where he was the odds-on favorite to go to the Carolina Panthers? He was the Vegas favorite.
Yeah, big time.
He was the favorite, CJ Stroud. Now, he might not even be, not one, that's now Bryce Young. That was always Bryce Young, but it's not one. Now might not be 2, might not be 3, might not be 4. Now all of a sudden he could be falling. Here was the latest from Adam Schefter earlier today on what's going on at the top of the draft.
What if the run on quarterbacks gets a little bit delayed? What if it's a little bit later to start than people thought? We've been hearing about quarterbacks going 1, 2, 3, 4. That's not going to happen, I don't believe, in this draft. I think Indianapolis thinks there's a real chance right now that they could sit right where they are at 4 and get potentially the second quarterback in this draft.
So Houston is really trying to sell the fact that they are not in on these quarterbacks. I'm not sure I buy it.
I totally buy it. Why would he? Okay, so we know there's some reasons they might not want Stroud. They,
Ohio State quarterback.
They have an issue with his agent. Everyone knows that. It's David Mulugeta, who represented Deshaun Watson, is C.J. Stroud's agent. Also, C.J. Stroud is ready to go and throw the ball all over the field right now. The Texans have no one to throw to. Why would they? C.J. Stroud does not fit their timeline. Anthony Richardson might. They could all grow together. C.J. Stroud, what's he going to do in Houston? It doesn't make any sense. It's not a fit to me.
Well, that part I don't agree with.
Throwing in Nico Collins, it'd be. What are you going to play him this year? Are you going to have him sit?
No, you'd play him right away.
To what avail? For what?
Because he's ready to go and you don't have a quarterback.
But you don't have a wide receiver. You don't have a team around him. This is a slow build team.
Okay, you might not have the wide receivers, but your offensive line is fine. So it's not like he's going to be back there getting killed. This is not a David Carr situation. So for that, you play him.
Well, would you agree with this statement that C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young are the 2 most NFL ready of the 4 top prospects?
Definitely.
So he's NFL ready. The Texans, if they're not going to get Bryce Young, I think that NFL readiness is not important to them. I think they're on a longer timeline.
So they don't want to start the clock on a rookie quarterback yet?
Well, no, I think they would. This is my opinion. I could be wrong. Maybe they will take C.J. Stroud. They would probably want an Anthony Richardson, who's a player who doesn't need weapons around him because, one, he's going to take some time. B, he can run the ball a lot. He doesn't need a fully developed team around him. He could still do some interesting things. C.J. Stroud with Houston just doesn't make any sense to me.
Interesting, because the logic there I don't really understand. It's I'd rather take a guy. We would agree that C.J. Stroud, the odds that C.J. Stroud pans out, do you think are a little bit higher than Anthony Richardson?
No, I think C.J. Stroud has earlier success, and long term, I think Richardson's probably better. If Richardson becomes what we think Richardson can become.
But Richardson has kind of also been described as a bit of a lottery ticket. It's all upside. We saw C.J. Stroud like lighting it up against Georgia, playing really well in a national championship game. Like, that's not a lottery ticket. That's like, all right, those Georgia defensive guys are all going to the NFL, and you played well against them.
Well, what do you think of this team? C.J. Stroud, a quarterback, throwing to these receivers. Robert Woods, coming off of like its 100th surgery. Nico Collins and Noah Brown.
Oh, I don't think the Texans are going to be any good.
Right, so they're basically tanking this year. C.J. Stroud's ready to go.
But I didn't think that the Bears were going to be any good, but I understood why Justin Fields was out there.
Right, but first of all, they took him 11th anyway. But
it's whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that they need C.J. Stroud at number 2. I think that they would probably win 4 games with him and be like, I don't know where we really are. You might as well take a project a little later. Why take C.J. Stroud now?
Well, because maybe you win 4 games year 1, but you're hoping that he develops and you build a better team, and then.
Well, I think the thinking is that Richardson and Levis are going to catch up with Stroud because of all their physical talent. That's the thinking, right? That in year 2. In year 3, Richardson is going to catch up to Stroud.
Yeah, but then Stroud, then that means Stroud wouldn't be chosen by anybody, because if you're actually ready to win right now, the odds are you don't need a quarterback. If you're an NFL team that's ready to go, that's maybe on the cusp of a playoff, odds are you have your quarterback.
I just think they're sitting at number 2, right? They bring in C.J. Stroud.
What if he's a franchise quarterback?
He'll be a good quarterback. I don't think there's any huge upside. You're going to need the right team around C.J. Stroud. You're going to need good receivers. You're going to have to build a lot of things. I feel like Anthony Richardson could be this dynamic, do-it-all, run, pass quarterback.
If you're not going to take Stroud, then you might as well really be bad again and try to tank for next year. Dangerous game, but you might as well do that.
Well, if you draft Stroud, you're probably going to win 3 or 4 games anyway, so you're going to be there.
Yeah, but you're not going to want to draft again.
Yeah, but I just don't think that there's enough upside. The ceiling, am I right? The ceiling of Stroud is not so high that you need to take him at number 2 overall here. So I think the Texans.
So here's the question.
Yeah.
If that's the thinking, right? If the way you're thinking about it is the way these NFL GMs are thinking about it.
Houston's GM.
Okay. But then how did Stroud ever get to near the top of the draft to begin with?
Well, I think he could probably go number 4 to Indianapolis, who has a lot more weapons than Houston, or he could go to the Raiders at 7. So we're talking top 10.
Yeah, but at the Raiders, he wouldn't start because Garoppolo's
Yeah, that's true. So you're right. For that reasoning, it doesn't make sense. But he might not be ready to start. But he's sort of closer. So why not take someone at 12? That's what I'm wondering with the Texans.
Well, I guess if you really love Hendon Hooker, you think Hooker's going to be there, something
like that. But you have to wait for him. So maybe the team matures, and then when Hendon Hooker's ready to go, they're a little better.
I guess. I think this is what teams tell themselves.
Yeah.
They say, we're never going to be picking 2 again. If we make the right pick, we're not going to be picking 2 again. So if we love one of these quarterbacks, we should go do it. Now, what the Texans are telling everyone else is, make us a deal. Like, make us an offer. Yeah. We want to trade out of this pick. At least that's how it feels.
Well, I don't think I think the Texans' timeline is different than all these other teams. Carolina, they got to win quickly. They have this aggressive owner. They have some Pro Bowlers around. Arizona has this huge money to Kyler Murray. Indianapolis has Jonathan Taylor and all these guys. Houston has nobody. They have nobody on their team. They have to give DeMeco Ryans 5 years. No, I know that's crazy. They fired 2 guys 2 years in a row. They have this young, he was a hot commodity. There was competition to get him. They got him. They're going to be super patient and build slowly.
Okay, that's fine. We're also getting word that maybe their general manager is leaving after the draft. Maybe not.
Denied it really strongly.
Sure, they all do. But that rumor didn't matriculate out of nowhere, right? Like, obviously something is going on there. So the front office might be unstable, which is never a great thing.
Right.
And also leads people to get urgent and try to save their jobs and stuff like that, which means taking quarterbacks. You also, at some point, you have to replace Deshaun Watson. At some point, you have to do that.
He's been gone for 2 years. I mean,
okay.
They took one in the second round. So why not just take someone at 12? Because I think, what if the quarterbacks fall? What if one of the top 4 guys falls, which seems possible now?
Yeah, but if you don't love him at 2, why would you love him at 12? Like, it's the same thing, because now you're going to have a first-round quarterback in your franchise. If you love him at 12, you take him at 2.
If you take the wrong guy at 2, it's a disaster.
Well,
it's a total disaster.
Our buddy Jim Nagy, who we love, who was a longtime scout in the NFL, runs the Senior Bowl now, and he comes on the show all the time. He says this on the show to us constantly.
Yeah.
Why'd we all get fired in Kansas City?
Because we didn't take a quarterback.
Never took one.
Yeah, but he did. First of all, I don't think he likes Stroud at 2.
He might not, but I'm just saying, there's a reality that at some point you can't be afraid of being wrong. At some point you gotta make the selection.
But I mean, come on. Let's look at some recent number twos. There's one in New York that jumps to mind.
Number 2 is Indeed.
Yeah, so
Plays
listen,
like number 2.
The Jets get all in love with Zach Wilson, and it destroys the franchise for a little bit.
But Zach Wilson didn't have anywhere near the tape that C.J. Stroud does. Zach Wilson wasn't sniffing the college football playoff.
Yeah, but Zach Wilson's
He wasn't playing against the same competition.
Yeah, I know, but
close.
C.J. Stroud was uneven last year. When you watched him last year, it was not ideal. If he didn't have that game against Georgia, forget it. We're not even having this conversation.
No, listen, it was a low point with the Michigan game. Totally understand that.
There were other low points that year, too.
But, I mean, Zach Wilson didn't play any team. He wasn't even close to the caliber of Michigan.
Yeah, I know.
Struggled against Coastal Carolina.
Listen, Zach Wilson, okay, we make fun of Zach Wilson was probably going high to it, if not the Jets. It's not like the Jets pulled him out of nowhere like the Niners did with Trey Lance. Even Trey Lance was going to go high.
Yeah, I know. And that's like the draft process that just catapults these guys all the way to the top.
But anyway, so Houston, what if there's a generational pass rusher there? And like, say, Detroit last year with Aiden Hutchinson, they probably are psyched they didn't take a quarterback there.
Yeah, but
that was number 2.
I think they're also looking to trade out. So if they can't get someone to trade out with them, then maybe you take the pass rusher if they love Will Anderson, whatever it is. But if you really think Lawrence Taylor's there or something, then you're not looking to sell the pick.
Right, but the other thing, too, is Schefter's logic is nobody's trading up to 2 or 3.
Right.
Because these quarterbacks are just not that good.
They're falling.
You're not going to give a first-round pick to get up for a project, right? You might end up doing it, but I think that's what Schefter's trying.
Look at what the 49ers did.
Right,
they traded multiple future first-round picks for a project.
Totally. And
it blew up on them.
But I think Schefter's saying that nobody's going to give up a first-round pick to go up to get a guy who started 13 games like Anthony Richardson, or a guy who threw basically 19 touchdowns, 11 picks like Will Levis.
I know, which is hilarious, though, because the 49ers, who we think are a smart franchise, fell all over themselves to get Trey Lance, who had no college tape.
Right, but Trey Lance was going top 5 anyway. He was the hot prospect coming. He ran into a little something called the pandemic. He'd thrown 27 touchdowns and 2 picks a year before in a pro system in North Dakota State. He was a hot item. So I don't know. Who was Anthony Richardson? Halfway through the year, people didn't understand what Anthony Richardson was. These guys came on late. I don't know. So what do you think? 2 and 3? You think they're going to be quarterbacks? You've been pretty high on them going high, so as have I.
Yeah, I think that Houston definitely has this pick for sale.
Well, yeah, they've
basically come out and said it.
Casario said on Monday, he's like, yeah, we'll take calls from anyone.
Right, and that means you're taking the pick. And so who's gonna win out there? Because is it going to be the general manager who may or may not be leaving or whatever, or could the owner come in and say, we're making the pick and I want the quarterback and this helps me sell season tickets and this gives hope to the franchise, and does somebody in the building want to finally get this quarterback thing settled?
I don't think, my opinion, the issue is there any team that'll give a first-round pick to get up there? And I think the answer will be no.
Same.
And that's why I think they won't be able to trade. So they'll be stuck at 2, and then they'll go defense.
I think they still might go quarterback. 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. Okay, question for today is about Draymond Green, Domantas Sabonis from last night. Our buddy Rohan Nadkarni, Sports Illustrated NBA writer, is going to join us next to give his thoughts on what's going on with Draymond. Should he be suspended? Don't move. More Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio in just moments.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. 3 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. Minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
We're back here on the Maggie and Perloff show. So our show needs a cheap shot artist. We need the bad guy. We need the Draymond Green. And I just think
we're searching for one.
I think we're a little nice.
Yeah, we're a little light on we're not angry people. We're not angsty.
We're angsty.
We don't try to get under people's skin.
Yeah, maybe we should start doing more of that. How about a show feud?
Should we start it with our next guest? I don't want to feud with this guy, though. He's the best. Maybe he can help us find out somebody to feud with.
Well, I'm just, yeah. Or maybe he could be our show tough guy.
Oh, maybe. Rohan Nadkarni, Sports Illustrated NBA writer. Rohan, you want to be our tough guy? I don't know. Are you up for that?
I think so. I mean, I'd love a chance. I think I'd be able to mix it up. I'd love to go after some radio people. Like, I welcome some feuds. I think have your guys back no matter what. I think I could be a good enforcer.
Rohan, have you ever stomped on another person?
I do not think I've ever stomped on someone, no.
Well, then you're fired. Then you can't be the enforcer on this show. It's just simply not going to work. But really looking at last night, I wasn't a fan. I'm not a fan of the antics because I think Draymond, when he got in the tussle with Domantas Sabonis, he crosses the line to the point where it hurts his team. What do you make of that? Do you think that Draymond more hurts his team or helps his team with the edge that he plays with?
Well, I definitely think he helps the team more, Maggie. I mean, I wrote about it this morning. I think that Draymond Green plays on the razor's edge of chaos and costly. And for the most part, it's worked. They won 4 championships. You can't ask him to be the aggressive Draymond that's allowed him to be one of, if not the best defender in NBA history, but then ask him to take away that aggressiveness in other situations. That's who he is. You can't ask him to tone it down. That attitude is what breeds his greatness. But we've also seen it be his downfall at times. And I agree with you. Last night he crossed the line, and I think the Kings were smart in what they did. Opponents are going to push the envelope against Draymond Green. They want him to lose his cool. They want him to get too emotional. As the veteran, as someone who's played in a million high-pressure playoff games, Draymond Green has to know better.
Wait, can I stop Rohan for a second?
Yeah.
Draymond Green, one of the best defensive players in NBA history?
Wait.
Oh, to me, it's without a question, to be honest.
History of the NBA. He's on the Mount Rushmore?
Let me put it this way. He is playing in an era where offense has never been better, and I think he's the player in the NBA who this guy was guarding centers. As much as Steph revolutionized what the Warriors did offensively, defensively, they were only able to do what they did because of Draymond. All those years, they won championships. They were a top 10 team defensively. You talk about guarding multiple positions, guarding pick and roll players, IQ. I think in his prime, I'd put him up there with anyone, truly.
I mean, he's Defensive Player of the Year, 7-time all first or second team defense.
Okay, so he's up there he's better than Bill Russell or Olajuwon or Tim Duncan or Robinson?
If he won a Defensive Player of the Year, he's in the conversation of the great defensive players. I mean, he's won.
But of all time, not every guy who won one Defensive Player of the Year is in the conversation for greatest of all time. But I don't want to sidetrack us on that.
Well, the next question for me, we talked about this earlier in the show, Rohan. If you had no Draymond Green, would Steph Curry have been able to fuel 4 championship runs, along with a little KD and Clay?
Gosh, I mean, that's obviously a fun question. I understand why you'd ask it. Like I said, we focus so much on the Warriors' offense. And, Steph, for example, allows a player like Draymond to exist offensively. No other team could get away with playing Draymond and Looney together, for example. That only works because of how good Steph is offensively, that you can put 2 non-shooters on the floor. At the same time, like I said, the teams that they won championships with, last year the Warriors were number 2 in defense. And they don't have a bunch of great perimeter defenders. Klay Thompson is a step slower than he used to be. Obviously, Andrew Wiggins is very good. But their defensive scheme works in large part because of Draymond Green, the amount of ground he's able to cover, the variety of players he's able to cover. So, I would never doubt Steph Curry's greatness. It depends who they replace Draymond with. Maybe they can still get to 4 championships. But the way I see it is Draymond's been an invaluable part to what they've done, in large part because of his defensive genius.
Rohan, Maggie and I were trying to figure out, does every great championship team have this guy, a sort of instigator or a tough guy or a guy who gets under the skin? And who are some of the last, say, 15 years in the NBA, who are some guys that are like Draymond?
I think every team has someone who is, emotionally playing at maybe a little bit higher level than everyone else. I think every team needs someone who, to get you through your 5th championship run, you need someone who's going to have that consistent level of intensity. I mean, you think of the big 3 Heat teams, they had a guy in Udonis Haslem who I don't think was necessarily like Draymond Green, but brought that intensity. You remember the hard fouls he had on Tyler Hansbrough, for example. I think it definitely happens. It reoccurs throughout the course of NBA history. Think about those Spurs teams that had someone like Bruce Bowen. He was willing to do kind of the unsexy things. A lot of players didn't like him. They thought he was a dirty player. I think that if you go through the course of history, you see that a lot of these teams, obviously the Bulls, famously with Dennis Rodman, a lot of teams have these players who are kind of you need someone who keeps that intensity level up.
Rohan Nadkarni joining us, Sports Illustrated NBA writer. Okay, we're not sure what's going to happen with Draymond, if he's going to be suspended for Game 3. I don't know if you have a thought on that, a lean, if you've been talking to anybody about what you think is going to happen.
I'm going to be surprised if he's suspended, if only because I think some people have already pushed back on the idea that he should have been ejected from that game, and I think it was obvious that he should have been ejected. I think the NBA, a lot of people think in 2016 Draymond was suspended for hitting LeBron James below the belt. What in reality happened was the NBA reviewed that foul, deemed it a flagrant, and Draymond had accumulated so many flagrant foul points that it triggered an automatic suspension. I don't think that's the case here. I don't think they're going to suspend him for this. I think they understand, first of all, the interest in this series is incredibly high. The ratings have been great after the first weekend. I think the NBA, I would hope, and I get the feeling, recognizes that they don't want to taint what's happening in this series. They don't want to ruin what's happening on the court. My best guess is that he'll be available for Game 3.
And how do you think the Warriors will do? Obviously, they can't win on the road. I don't get it.
Yeah, how much trouble are they in?
Yeah, can they turn this around?
I definitely think they can turn it around. They certainly have the talent. I think bringing Andrew Wiggins into the starting lineup was a good idea. They have a couple more things they can go to, matching Andrew Wiggins' minutes with De'Aaron Fox, matching Gary Payton's minutes with Malik Monk, some adjustments for Steve Kerr to make. I will say that Mike Brown, I think, has done the most impressive coaching job in round one. Defensively, I think the Kings have played way better than anyone could have expected. Offensively, they continue to push the pace. Golden State at the fastest pace of any team in the regular season. The Kings have taken them to another level. They're pushing them even harder. I think it's worked incredibly well for their offense. The Kings haven't even had a big shooting night yet. This is one of the best three-point shooting teams in the regular season. They couldn't shoot the three in Game 2. So both teams have room for improvement. I have to believe the Warriors will respond at home, though.
Okay, Rohan, I want to switch to another series. Everyone is in love with Russell Westbrook's 3 for 19 game. Clippers knock out the Suns in Game 1.
Yeah.
And I'm reading more stories. Give him his flowers for the defensive effort. This cannot last. I do not buy this narrative that Russell Westbrook is doing other things. Someone tell that guy to stop shooting. Rohan, am I being too harsh on Russell Westbrook and the Clippers?
Andrew, in your defense, I do think people were having a little heavy hand with the masala after that Russell Westbrook game, kind of focusing on the last 2 minutes, maybe ignoring the first 46 when, as you mentioned, he shot 3 for 19. The Clippers are in an interesting position here because, listen, I do think that Russell Westbrook, after all he's been through, it was nice to see him have a positive playoff moment. He made some huge plays in the last 2 minutes, the offensive rebounds, extending possessions, obviously the defense. And on the other side of the ball, Paul George is gone. Someone has to take these shots. But I'm with you. We can't get carried away with Russell Westbrook's performance here. I thought the last 5 minutes of that game, the bigger issue for the Suns was not Russell Westbrook, it was their inability to get Kevin Durant shots. I think he shot only one time in the last 5 minutes. They were running a lot of Chris Paul, DeAndre Ayton pick and rolls when Devin Booker and Kevin Durant are kind of standing on the perimeter. So I thought the end of that game maybe had a little bit more to do with the Suns, their unfamiliarity with each other in these big moments, than the Clippers. Listen, I'm happy for Russell Westbrook, but the idea that, he can continue to shoot like that and it be a positive for the Clippers, I don't really buy it.
That seems crazy. Rohan, thanks so much. Hey, before we let you go, because we always like to talk not only NBA, but a little, culture stuff with you as well, give us some upcoming trends for the summer. What do you think is going to be big in the scene out there?
Can I say? Yeah. I'm thinking of wearing Russell Westbrook a flowery blouse that's open to show my abs and short shorts.
Will you wear that tomorrow?
I probably will.
We can find that in Soho.
Yeah. So other than that, because I'm already on top of that, Rohan.
Besides that, yeah.
First of all, I tried to find the exact outfit Russell Westbrook wore to that game because I believe it was from his own brand and I couldn't find it online. So I don't know who is in charge of marketing or business, but that seems like a misstep. I want to put you guys on what I think is going to be the drink of the summer. And this is one of those, like all great innovations in America. This was a happy accident. I ran out of club soda, so I was looking for a mixer the other day. Vermouth and Spindrift. Don't sleep on it. That's all I'm going to say. Drink of the summer. Just buy yourself a nice, fancy bottle of vermouth, maybe a pineapple Spindrift,
and you're working with something there.
Wow. So it's pineapple. But any flavor will do, or just pineapple?
Feel free to run some tests. We're in very early stages of what this could become, the potential here. Personally, I can only vouch for the pineapple one as for now.
Rohan, I will pay
necessity, the mother of invention. I'm sorry.
I don't drink, but I will pay $6 for a grapefruit spindrift. For some reason, I'm so addicted to that drink.
It's so good.
I don't know if you guys
I'll pay $6 for the tall can of spindrift, have 3 sips of it, and then it's just lying in my room for the next 6 days.
Everyone in America right now has a half-empty spindrift just sitting around some room in their home. All right, heard it here. A vermouth and pineapple spindrift. All right, Rohan, we know we can always count on you for basketball and everything else. Thank you so much. Enjoy the games tonight. Got Suns Clippers and a big game for the Suns. Thank you.
Anytime, guys.
All right.
So my household, we are a serious group of LaCroix addicts. My wife and I will down a case of LaCroix every day. Once you get into it, once you get the habit, you can't put it down.
We were into this too, and we were going through some serious bubbly water at my house. And then we kind of found out, is it not good for you to drink all those bubbles?
Wait, explain. Why not?
I don't know. You got to do some light Googling on this.
Wait, there's sodium in there. It's salt.
Something maybe not great for your stomach. To be putting down that much seltzer.
We got
to do a little. We'll do a little research at the break. Ackerman, you got anything on this?
No.
Okay. We'll figure it out.
That's weird that Act's not up on the latest health trends.
Act not a big seltzer guy.
Seltzer's like the one thing I just don't. It has no taste.
Well, that's why you get the flavor.
That's why I would think it couldn't be that bad for you, because it's not flavorful enough to really.
People like it. I don't, but people do.
I think there's something about putting down too much of the bubbly. And not that bubbly. The bubble water. The champagne. Yeah, have at it. 855-212-4CBS. 855-212-4227. Got an update here. Shams Charania, before we pass this over to Ackerman, just really quickly, unless, Ack, I'm not stepping on your toes here. Shams saying it's looking unlikely Warriors forward Draymond Green will be suspended for Game 3.
There you go.
So unlikely coming from Shams is basically a guarantee. We have more on this after the break. Also, the no-brainer move for the Dallas Cowboys. We got that for you in just a moment. Don't move. More Maggie and Perloff after this CBS Sports Update with Rich.
Sports Flash.
And it's sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Looking for a career path with flexibility and great pay benefits? Go to progressive.com/careers and apply online today. Bundle today, progressive.com. 4 months after since the frightening cardiac episode, Bills GM Brandon Beane said DeMar Hamlin has been cleared to resume full football activities and is taking part in the Bills' volunteer workouts this week after being cleared by 3 specialists. Heat guard Tyler Hero will undergo surgery on his broken hand. He is out at least 4 to 6 weeks, so his season could be over. The Celtics came up short of a title last year and looking to get back to the finals and open the playoffs with an easy win over the Hawks. And tonight look to go up 2-0 on Atlanta. The Knicks took the opener from the Cavaliers. Game 2 in Cleveland tonight. Josh Hart has been upgraded to questionable with an ankle injury and is likely to play. It was the Suns' first loss with Kevin Durant in the lineup. They'll try to even things up with the Clippers tonight in Phoenix. 4 games in the Stanley Cup playoffs, starting with the Battle of the Hudson River between the Rangers and Devils at 7 Eastern time. Baseball today, the Phillies have an early 3-0 lead over the White Sox top 2. Guardians and Tigers scoreless in Game 2, bottom 2, with the Tigers winning Game 1 4-3. I'm Rich Ackerman.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 4 minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
The Defensive Player of the Week is sponsored by Navy Federal Credit Union, who proudly serves the armed forces, DoD veterans, and their families. Their members are the mission. Learn more at NavyFederal.org. So somebody had a bunch of blocks the other night. There's an obvious choice for this. I'm totally blanking on who it was.
Well, Stu doesn't usually play favorites with his favorite teams.
Yeah. Oh.
So I think he's going to go Anthony Davis for the Lakers just because he doesn't usually do that.
Right. Anthony Davis. But you could make an argument. I was thinking who should win it, although he didn't win his game. Devin Booker's defense in Game 1 was a sight to behold. Which is so bizarre. He's a 6'3" shooting guard.
Yeah.
Dominated. Had 4 blocks, 4 steals. Drew like 6 charges. He is such a good defensive player that the world is just starting to realize.
Wait a minute. Is Stu diabolical enough to actually give it to Russell Westbrook?
Oh.
Because you said Booker made me think of Westbrook because he had the defensive stop on Booker at the end of the game. But Stu hates Russell Westbrook because of what he did to the Lakers.
No, nobody. Stu doesn't hate Russell Westbrook.
Well, sports hate.
There's no way Stu's giving it to Westbrook.
Oh, you think Stu there's too much Laker damage?
He's 1,000% going AD.
I think so. I think Stu finally tapped into his fandom and leaned AD.
I think the way Stu is looking right now, he might have gone Westbrook.
I went Westbrook.
Oh, Stu, fat wrong.
He had the big block on Devin Booker with 10.1 seconds left.
Big foul, by the way.
It might have been a foul, but according to NBA's matchup data, it says that Westbrook defended Booker, KD, and CP3 for a combined 59 possessions in Game 1, in which they combined for just 6 points on 25% shooting.
Man, Stu coming with the receipts. I'm proud of you, Stu. I know that was probably difficult.
I felt good, actually.
Oh, good. Exercise some demons. He can't hurt you anymore.
Nope. Well,
But did you guys?
He absolutely can.
Maybe not. Maybe I spoke too soon.
Did you notice the Devin Booker thing in that game? Because the announcers kept harking on this. That he was just dominating that side of the floor.
No, we know you love Booker.
No, it's not we love Booker. I mean, he was honestly one of the great. Who called that game? It was the big
I think it was
team.
Brian Anderson, wasn't it? It was BA?
Yeah, he was like, this is one of the great defensive performances because Westbrook got one, Westbrook kept poking the ball out from behind, which was impressive. I'm telling you, watch D-Book play defense this game. He's an MVP caliber player. I am in love with him.
We all like him. Just a little update here. Apparently, there is such a thing as drinking too much seltzer, according to some doctor. European Journal of Gastroenterology and Hepatology said this doctor said a large intake of seltzer in a short period of time may cause gastric distress or bloating and can weaken a valve that typically keeps stomach contents down.
Okay.
So this is an overtime.
Of all the things that will kill us.
Yeah, listen. If anything, though, I don't want any valves around my stomach being weak. I need those valves.
Right.
To be strong. Keep everything in.
Seltzer water, I think, is relatively harmless. Like sunscreen, if you tell, like anything that cause all these very dangerous products out there.
Yeah.
I don't think seltzer is one of those.
Well,
is it?
I don't know. Something called gastroesophageal reflux disease. GERD. GERD.
Yeah.
Because
so
carbonation can cause belching, which can cause acid reflux and heartburn.
Okay. I'm going to survive all those things.
Also, it might damage your teeth, but that's not because of the seltzer. That's because of the other things they put in the seltzer.
I read seltzer is bad for you if you have severe gastrointestinal disease. Say you have ulcerative colitis or something.
Yeah, like IBS or something.
Right. Yeah. I hate to say it, but you already have a problem, and I don't think seltzer caused that.
Seltzer. No, but yes, you're right. It could exacerbate it. Imagine if you have like a serious gastrointestinal disease. What the hell would you be doing drinking seltzer? There'd be like a ticking time bomb in your stomach.
It's water with bubbles in it.
I know, but it causes burps and belches and all the stuff you want to avoid if you already have problems down there.
Are you a person who'll read something in the paper about a food saying red meat is bad for you or this is bad for you and then just pull out?
I'm like a tennis player, flip-flop.
The latest article you read?
It's so bad. It's like one cup of coffee will save you. A cup of coffee is going to kill you. Yeah, bottoms up, Pat. This is good for you. That's good for you. I try to play it a little down the middle, but I can't help be swayed by these things.
I'm convinced you can find any supporting argument that you want to find on the internet.
It's a bad place we're in.
You can find anything you eat or drink that will kill you or that is good for you.
Unfortunately, it's not just foods. Like, you can just find anything to support any argument you have. It's a dangerous situation because, if you really just want the facts, it's a hard thing to find these.
There's been a couple studies that got a lot of attention.
What's that?
That idea, there was this thing out there that one glass of wine is good for you. Have you ever heard that?
The red wine.
One
glass of red wine. I feel like even LeBron James and all these athletes think that.
There's recent studies that was all made up and that there's no such thing as healthy, moderate drinking.
Yeah, I could see.
I mean, considering most of the science was funded by Miller Lite.
I was going to say, Red Wine Drinkers of America, of which I am a proud member.
I hate to say this because if they want to sponsor us, I'm all in. But there was this big movement that chocolate milk was great for athletes to re-energize them.
I'm so glad you brought that up. Not only was there a movement about chocolate milk, which we love, by the way, that it was good for recovery from exercise. I kid you not. I interviewed Apollo Anton Ono and Heinz Ward talking about this.
We were always offered Ono to talk about chocolate milk. Yeah.
The key to speed skating, guys.
The one that I've actually read a lot about is coffee good for you or bad for you, because it's my number one addiction. And I will hand pick the ones that say it's good for you.
Yeah. It's like, it's great for your everything.
For your cognitive.
Live forever.
Yeah. You stay sharper.
Yeah. Stay regular.
I do think that there's this idea out there that a little bit of alcohol is good for you, but I never believe that.
It's all everything in moderation. That it's got to be.
No, see, even everything in moderation.
The only thing that keeps everybody alive.
I guess so.
Except for the seltzer. That will kill you. Too much of that, your stomach will explode.
One thing that we were told that was really good as kids that I cannot believe is good once you get past childhood, I don't think milk is good for us. I am not a big dairy guy. Do you guys have
cow's milk?
Cow's milk, yeah. Yeah, that's why you have all these oat milks and almond milks, which also seem like a bit of a lie, but whatever.
We're going to find out in 20 years that kale, almond milk were the worst things we could have possibly...
Almond milk's bad for the environment.
Is it?
They have to import all kinds of water to make all the almonds to create that milk. So I can make you feel guilty about anything.
I already do. Don't worry. I'm already feeling the guilt. But my kid's putting down like a gallon of milk a day.
No, kids, it's great for kids.
Okay.
We learned this. Yeah, no, they need those vitamins. You're good.
So what do you put in your cereal? You putting almond milk in your cereal?
I don't really eat dry cereal anymore. And
no, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. But I make oatmeal and I use soy milk, which I don't know.
Pretty sure that causes cancer. No, I'm just kidding.
I think it does. I think it does. We have soy milk. The kids drink Lactaid because I think one of my kids is not good with lactose. Doesn't like it.
Yet the seltzer water is totally fine.
Well, I mean, honestly,
it's a different thing.
You know my wife. We're a pretty healthy household.
Oh, yeah.
So seltzer is one of those. That's so lame. Seltzer is.
It's a guilty pleasure.
It's a guilty pleasure.
For some people, it's double bacon cheeseburgers. For your house, it's seltzer water.
I know what the fear. Forget all these things. I know what the problem is in the Gray household.
Oh, I had to cut it out. Cold turkey.
Sugar baby.
I was putting down a pack of Sour Patch Kids a day. You were witnessing.
Yep.
I feel like everyone here was a party to my addiction to serious candy.
Yeah, you had a bad habit. We were all worried about it.
It was getting out of control. It's like, what is it, Halloween again? I quit cold turkey. I haven't had a piece of candy since New Year's.
Yeah, let's not get cocky.
Shaken like a leaf. The big story today, Draymond Green, Domantas Sabonis got in a dust-up last night where Draymond Green ends up stepping on Sabonis' chest. Dan is in Ohio, wants to talk about it. What's up, Dan?
Hi, Maggie. Hey, Perloff. Love the show. First time calling in.
Thank you.
Hey, yeah, on the Draymond situation, I did watch especially the replay, and it felt like two professional wrestlers in the ring being the floppers that they are. If you really watch Draymond, yeah, he stomped, but he didn't extend his leg to where he put all his weight on him. And then when he hopped off like a pogo stick, he hopped off the non-bearing weight leg the weight was on the other leg. So if you really watch, and then you got the flop of Sabonis acting like he couldn't play anymore, and then he plays the rest of the game. I guess it's just one of those things where I think they both were just trying to get their team motivated, and that's where I think sometimes that enforcer role that you were talking about, Perloff, is sometimes your best player isn't going to get everybody motivated, but if you can come off with a big play of, defensively or getting somebody in a technical or a foul, I just think it looked like it was two guys working towards a professional wrestling career afterwards, honestly.
Honestly, Dan, you're right about that. I mean, the WWE's got two superstars. I could see Draymond 100% doing something with wrestling after basketball.
Oh, 100%. And Sabonis looks like a fun guy. I feel like he'd enjoy the wrestling storyline. And I do think Sabonis reached for his stomach, and that he wasn't quite sure where the pain was. It felt,
I think the wind got knocked out of him. You guys think
I don't know. I know Draymond weighs a lot and stepping on you, but that was a good point. I'm not sure he got all his weight on him. And Sabonis has to play center a lot. I mean, he's banging with huge guys.
Okay, do we just have to put this thing finally to the test? Does one of us just have to step on someone else? Like, do we have to do this Pat already volunteered to step on you, but I don't think you want that.
Well, I think Draymond and Sabonis probably weigh the same.
Yeah.
Does Sabonis weigh a little more? I don't know.
Maybe he's 7'1", so he's definitely taller.
Yeah, so I need someone my weight, and I'll do it.
And how much do you weigh?
I weigh about 198.
All right, we'll work on it in the break. Got to find somebody who can match Perloff's weight, see if he'll step on him. I like where this is going. Coming up next.
Yeah, why Perloff? Okay.
NBA champion, the Big Shot Bob himself, Bob Horry. Robert Horry is going to join the show. What does he think of Draymond and the Lakers' future? We'll talk to him in a minute. Don't move.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. 45 seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Is that the worst thing you can do to a coworker? Is take their Diet Dr. Pepper out of the fridge? Because I didn't do it, but the thought crossed my mind. And actually, my second thought was, wow, Maggie would just kill me if I did this.
I mean, listen, you could sleep with somebody's wife. That'd be worse.
I don't think it's
taking
that.
their soda, but
You mean like Boston Celtics? No, I don't think. Honestly, I don't think that's worse. I mean, I think it's about time. If I had put a Diet Dr. Pepper in the fridge to go with my lunch and somebody took it, I
would be more upset than if it was like, hey, by the way, Dale is sleeping with your wife.
That Dale. I would want to.
He's got Dr. Pepper. Dale, you're forgiven.
I would want to punch Dale if he was sleeping with my wife. If he took my Dr. Pepper, it'd be full on attack.
They are Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio.
What up, what up? Welcome back to the show. Maggie and Perloff hanging out with you across the country on CBS Sports Radio. You want to watch the show, you can. YouTube.com/CBS Sports Radio. The big topic today, the dust-up between Draymond Green and Domantas Sabonis last night. The Kings take a 2-0 lead over the defending champion Warriors. And Perloff, you and I have talked about this. We've given our thoughts about what we think happened, who was in the wrong. I think Draymond more in the wrong. You think he's in the right. Let's get the thoughts of somebody who's been in some of these incredibly intense matchups, someone who's won 7 NBA championships. And that, of course, is Robert Horry, who joins us on behalf of Bet Online. Check out Bet Online for up-to-date NBA Finals and conference odds, along with first-round series prices, game lines, and props for each and every game. Robert, it's Maggie and Perloff in New York. Thanks so much for the time today. How are you?
I am good. How are you guys doing?
We're doing fantastic, and we're talking about Draymond and Sabonis from last night. So from your vantage point, right, was this like crossing the line from Draymond?
I thought I was watching Stone Cold Steve Austin will stomp you down, man. But, the thing is, every guy's had their leg grabbed and played basketball. You don't snatch it up and just do a stomp on a dude, man. I think he crossed the line when he did that. You can pull your leg out or you can, reach down and move it, but you don't just jump up blatantly and just stomp on a guy like that. And I know Draymond has a lot of antics, but that, to me, and being in situations like that, I've actually had my leg grabbed like that, and I reach down and I punch the guy in the shoulder to make him let go of my leg. But, it's things like that happen, but that, to me, it was a little excessive.
I understand it was excessive, but does Draymond kind of need to do that? Isn't that part of his role in the Warriors, to get everybody fired up and to go out there and cause trouble?
Not like that. You're too important, especially when you suck on the road as a team and you in the playoffs, and now you risk of getting suspended for another game. And it's just too many things at stake. Cooler heads prevail. I look at the Denver game when Slow-Mo put the elbow on the guy, the rookie, I can't remember his name, and he just backed up. And think about it. That's a guy who's never been in the playoffs before, and you got Draymond who's won 4 championships, been in the playoffs in every situation. When he reacts like that, you got to know what's at stake here. You got to put your team before your emotions.
Robert Horry joining us on behalf of Bet Online. Would you want to be teammates with someone like Draymond? Would you, or not someone like him? Would you want to be teammates with Draymond?
I like his energy and enthusiasm on the court, but there'd be a point where I have to tell him to shut up, because I think sometimes you can get your emotions to get involved and you can do things to fire teams up. And it's hard to play with guys like that. I played with volatile guys like Vernon Maxwell before, but Vernon knew what was more important to us. He might have some moments, but he always put us first. And I think sometimes Draymond lets himself become before the team.
Robert, if the Warriors lose this series to the Kings, should Draymond Green be blamed for it?
No. The Warriors are just getting outworked right now. If you look at what Brown had, how he has coached his young team and the way they had developed, it reminds me of how Mark Jackson did the Golden State Warriors. Got them all ready, and all of a sudden, then the coach gets fired. The next thing you know, coach steps in and wins the championship. And I'm not saying Sacramento's winning the championship. I'm just saying the things that the organization, Luke Walton, did last year to prepare them for this season has come into fruition. And so if you look at the way those guys are playing together, and they're playing for one another, and with the addition of Malik Monk, they're just playing awesome right now. So I just think that the better team is winning. You know, people always look at, you know, oh, this is a championship team, a championship caliber team, but two things happen. You get older, and the other team gets hungrier. And that's what's happening to the Golden State Warriors.
We're talking to Robert Horry, 7-time NBA champion, Lakers analyst. Now, obviously, we want to talk about older teams. LeBron James is getting kind of old. I don't know. We're here in New York, actually. I don't know if you've heard this sort of national buzz, but it seems like everyone now thinks there's a window for the Lakers to come out of the West, not just win the series, but have a lot of success moving forward. Are you feeling that sort of energy in L.A., and do you think it's possible?
I think it's extremely possible because when you get guys that come off that bench each and every night, they step up, and you don't know who's going to step up, and you got AD who's, you know, could be arguably one of the best players in this league if he can stay healthy, and you got LeBron who is still one of the best players in the league for playing 20 years in the league. And I think, you know, you got that combination. It's hard to beat a team like that. And if they can just stay healthy, which is the biggest thing for them, and beat teams and get some rest within a series, they're fine. You know, right now the NBA has played into their favor. Think about it. Most guys played either yesterday or playing today. They got 2 games before their next game. So that allows an older veteran team to get more rest and come out and play a lot more energy.
Robert Horry is our guest. He's joining us on behalf of BetOnline. Check out BetOnline for up-to-date NBA Finals and conference odds. Robert, what is LeBron James's role in these playoffs? Like, how would you define it as opposed to years before?
I think his role is to be an analyst. And what I mean by that is you need to analyze the situation and do what the team is needing. Because you watch him last game, he didn't need to do much. You know, just run the court because you had Rui who stepped up, you had Reeves who stepped up. And when you got guys like that can step up, that takes a load off of you. And for LeBron, sometimes he goes out and tries to carry a team. And when you got those guys out there making shots, making plays, he doesn't have to carry the load. So that makes him a little bit fresher for the next game. So when he got, you know, I love the fact that he just sat back and said, okay, these guys are cooking. I'm not going to try to take over. He got off the ball. He did things of that nature to make everybody else, you know, do their thing on the court because they was rolling. And I think that's when you watch him in the past, he would probably say, okay, I need to get mine. But now he's like, okay, I'll sit back and rest now. Do your thing, young fella. So he has matured, and he analyzed the situation and knows that he doesn't have to do everything all the time.
But say there's a game where Rui Hachimura is not red hot and other guys don't step up. Can LeBron score 40 in a night and lead the Lakers if that's the role he sees that he has to play?
Yeah, if he has to score 40, yes. You know, that means he's going to get downhill. He's going to put those guys on their heels and try to get them in foul trouble. You know, the good thing about when you have a guy like AD who can shoot from the outside, that can pull the defensive player of the year, Triple J out, and then LeBron can get in and, you know, get some layups or dunk on some people and do some things of that nature. So it's always good when you got guys who can shoot like AD and allows LeBron to get to the hole and do things like overpower people with his strength.
Robert Horry is our guest, the 7-time NBA champion, on behalf of BetOnline. And obviously for Memphis, you know, we'll still wait and see what's going on with Ja Morant. But, Robert, it's funny because they talk about, well, Memphis, they have this great record even when Ja Morant doesn't play. But how does that change in the playoffs? Like, it doesn't seem right to me to say, oh, let's take their best player off the court. Don't worry, they'll be fine. That doesn't sound right to me.
No, it doesn't sound right because you think about it, Lakers are 2-1 this year against the Grizzlies, and the last game they won because Ja had like 30 points on the Lakers, and you got to think about that. Certain guys have the advantage, and Ja has the advantage when he goes against the Lakers because he's so athletic. He can get to the paint. Even though the Lakers have good guys who can guard them, But Jar is just an exceptional athlete where he can just leap over guys, blow by guys with his speed. So without him on the court, it makes it very difficult for the guys to score, because if you look at those guys like Bane, and he needs him to penetrate and kick so he can get his shots off. So those are key things and vital issues that are missing when Jar's not in the game.
All right, Robert, full disclosure, I'm a Sixers fan. I just have to get that out there.
Surprised you took 9 minutes to get you there.
So,
ain't nothing wrong with that. I used to be a Sixers fan, too.
Oh, awesome. Growing up. So, Joel Embiid, MVP, I think it's probably going to happen this year. But it seems to me, unlike when you played, the centers have great regular season numbers, but don't seem to be able to win titles. I mean, you won with some of the greatest big men of all time. What has changed in the league? Is Joel going to be able to get a title? Is Joker going to be able to win one? Or is it really not in the cards for big-time centers to win titles?
Well, if you really look at it, people always say that, but if you think about it, there's only been one team that has won a championship in the last 20 years without a dominant big man. That's been the Golden State Warriors. So now everybody wants to put their formula to look like Golden State Warriors shoot threes, which is stupid to me, because you look at Giannis won it, Dream won it, Shaq won it. All these guys, you think about, there have been bigs. When I say bigs, guys over 6'9", 6'10", that could do a little bit of everything. They won the championships. And you look at, everybody says, okay, we got to shoot threes like Steph. No, you just happen to win it. Even though, Cleveland won it with LeBron, but LeBron is like a big. But I think with the Sixers, they have a golden opportunity to win it, because the way Embiid is playing, I think he should have won MVP 2 years ago. But the way he is playing has just been above and beyond the way a lot of guys can play in this league. And when you got someone you cannot stop inside and out, you're in trouble.
Robert, just a few more for you. And again, thanks for making the time for us today on behalf of Bet Online. So you mentioned the Warriors are kind of the outlier, but it's so recent in our mind because they've had this dynasty, and they've been so good over the past few years. But do you think the Warriors dynasty is over?
You know what? I don't know if it's over, but I just look at the dynasty. Everybody thinks it's Steph, but I think it's all about Clay. I just think because Clay was that lockdown defender, he was that guy who can get his shot anywhere he wanted to. Now, because of all the injuries, he slowed down. Now that Draymond is older and he's slowed down, Steph can be Steph. But Steph can't be Steph if those other two guys don't do what they need to do. And I just think, I'm a hugest Clay fan. I hate when he got injured because he was a guy who could do it on both ends of the floor. I just think now that, he can't guard the best perimeter, and sometimes now, Steph has to. It put more pressure on Steph. So it's just going to be hard for those guys to get back up there. But the key is if they can get some rest and get their legs back on them, because if you look at the way the Kings played, man, they just ran them up and down the court. Even though they kept it close, the Kings were in their flow. The way they wanted, the pace of the game was in their favor.
Robert Horry, it's always great when we get to catch up with you, Robert. Thank you so much on behalf of Bet Online. You got to check out Bet Online for up-to-date NBA Finals and conference odds, along with first-round series prices, game lines, and props for each and every game. Hope to catch up with you again soon, Robert. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Appreciate that. Robert Horry, 7-time NBA champ.
All right, so he's on Team Maggie for the Draymond argument.
Thank you.
Cross the line.
I mean, and he played in an era that's way rougher than now.
He referenced Vernon Maxwell.
Oh, my gosh.
He was terrifying. I've heard stories about him that players were legitimately scared.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, and also I want to say back then, like Robert Horry played so long ago, but it was way more permissive. You could be, so much more physical.
Yeah.
And it was expected it was going to be super physical. Now it's like night to night, kind of depends on which referee crew you have and all of that.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's interesting. You'll look at the guys he won titles with. Hakeem Olajuwon.
Yeah.
Shaq. Duncan. I mean, he knows
big men.
He knows big, and he's a big guy too. He's 6'10". Yeah, I mean, he's probably 6'9", 6'10", but he never, credit him. He knew how to pick his spots. He did not have to play that game. I was a big Horry fan when he came out of Alabama.
Of course.
He was just so silky smooth, and he never needed to score too, which I like about him. I think that's why Draymond's so attractive to people. I think I've heard LeBron wants to play with Draymond.
Yeah.
Because Draymond's not going to take any shots. He's just going to put the team first. It used to annoy me. Like, he used to pass up these shots, but that's the problem. You can't, like Luka. Who are you going to pair with Luka?
I get
you
it.
need to find complementary pieces, and Draymond is such a unique complementary piece.
No, he is, but even our pal Rohan was saying the fact that you need like one of the most prolific scorers basically of all time to be able to have like Draymond and Kevon Looney be able to be on the court together.
Right, but you could argue that you need a Draymond to have one of the most prolific scorers of all time, a guy who can pass the ball all over the place and rebound all over the place and not demand any shots. That's 5 extra shots to go to Steph. So Steph Curry never has to worry about passing. He's like, I'm gonna shoot when I feel it.
If that was the only part of the Draymond story, I would say you're 100% right. And you are right. Like, I get it. And Draymond serves this incredible role that offensively is completely selfless. But you could also argue that with all the other stuff that comes along with Draymond, it's like you never know potentially what you're getting night to night, whether or not he's going to get kicked out of the game.
Night to night, he's got how many times has he been ejected?
How many times has he led the league in technicals?
Enough.
I mean, yeah, I think it's okay to say you're not sure night to night if he's going to start getting into it.
But
so
last
you
year
got to take the good with the not so good.
Yeah, last year during the run, the championship run, I don't remember being worried about Draymond crossing the line. It
wasn't crossing the line. You were worried whether he was getting played off the court. And then to his credit, he actually had a nice resurgence in the finals. 855-212 for CBS 855-212-4227. We get back to your phone calls in just one moment. You want to weigh in on that. Robert already told you what he thinks, which is Draymond definitely crossed the line. What do you think? Also coming up, one NFL insider explains why the one deal we're all waiting on just will not get done. Get to that in just a moment. Don't move. More Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. Remaining. "45 seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff. Somebody's got to call into the show, 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227, and side with me that what Draymond Green did was not exactly right, but it was not that big a deal. It wasn't like... I'm saying it wasn't like he put all his 230 pounds on the poor chest of poor Domantas Sabonis. Sabonis grabbed his leg and he kicked out of there like a fight that my 2 kids have had about 1,000 times.
A little more intense, unless your house is really ratcheted up. They fighting over an iPad or something. Have we found yet somebody who matches Perloff's weight, who can step on Perloff, so that maybe you'll see that this is not like, something small? Like, I don't want to see you get hurt. That's not the intention. But you're so poo-pooing this. Like, it's no big deal. Like, this is a normal basketball play. Like, it's setting a hard pick or something.
Well, okay, in the next break, just for fun, are you wearing heels?
No. I'm wearing sneakers.
Why would you be wearing heels on a random Tuesday?
Surely you jest.
Are you wearing formal wear today? Are you wearing heels?
I know.
What the heck am I talking about?
Of course, I'm wearing my gown. It's Gown Tuesdays.
Yeah, I mean, if you're on Sports Talk Radio, you got to wear heels.
You tell me Draymond didn't put a 6-inch high heel into Sabonis?
Yeah, that would be dangerous.
Yeah, no,
I will gladly. I will let you step on me.
I know, but I'm not nearly. No offense, I'm not your weight class.
I know, but I don't really want to risk injury here.
I see. That's the point, though. You're poo-pooing it like it's no big deal, but I feel
if
like
it happened on the basketball court and I was on the ground,
I'll step on you.
If I was on the ground and warmed up and running around, I would not care if somebody stepped on me. I mean, I would try and fight them, of course.
But I'm not going to put all my weight on you either, because as a friend, I just couldn't do that.
No, I feel like you could put all your weight on me and it would not hurt that much.
Okay, so we'll find out in the next break. We'll do that.
It might actually be like a massage.
And walk on your back.
Yeah, walk on my back.
All right, so we'll do that.
I would like to see Stu try and do that, because Stu's so nice. I feel like he'd be so scared that he would hurt me that it'd be like a feather. Like Stu.
Yeah, Stu's not like not like Draymond, which is basically like a diving board.
And Pat, forget it. 220? No, I have no interest.
Sorry, Pat. You're a different weight class.
Maggie, did you see on social, you were off last week, Zach Gelb blocked me? I don't know if you saw that.
No.
Zach Gelb comes on after us on CBS Sports Radio, weighs 280 if he weighs a pound.
Wow.
So I thought he was a big guy. He's told me he played in high school offensive line. So I said, all right, let's, for fun, why don't you block me?
How'd it go?
So we're lining up, and I see him, and there is some deep anger. I don't know if it was toward me. So I'm pass rushing. I turn to the camera and say, I'm going to drop back into coverage like Hassan Reddick is often called to do on Jonathan Gannon's Eagles defense. So I drop back and I run away. Then Zach just runs after me. And I'm telling you, he put his thumb into my shoulder. He's a strong dude. Pat, you're a strong dude. Have you ever been blocked by Zach Gelb?
I have not.
What are we doing around here?
Yeah.
I mean, come on. We're not stomping on Perloff. We're not having Zach blocked with Pat Boyle. Are we doing work or something?
This is Sports Talk Radio. I think somebody's got to get injured. Hopefully not me.
Gelb and I feel like it would get way too competitive.
Yeah. That's the other thing.
Somebody would get hurt.
Yeah.
Were you were a defensive guy in high school?
I did not play football.
Oh, okay.
I was a goalie in soccer.
Yeah, you play baseball too, right, Pat?
That's the kind of psycho that we thought, Pat. All goalies, any sport, pure psycho, especially hockey. Hockey goalies, insane. Nice people, come across as super nice.
Well, I don't
Loco.
know. Wait, are hockey goalies the most? I mean, the hockey has the real goons. Those people are insane, right?
Yeah, but they're doing on the outward way. Like the goalie's all pent up because they're just right between the pipes.
I have a friend who's a goalie. He's a professional goalie.
Yeah, I bet he's a low-key psycho, whoever he is.
He's like one of the nicest guys in history. They're all from Western Canada. They're the nicest people in the world.
You're just being fooled. Don't let them put the wool over your eyes. They're the ones who are the stone-cold psychopaths. John is in South Carolina. Wants to talk about Draymond. John, what's up?
Well, sports. I play. We all have rough sports. He's not the first guy to stomp on somebody. But the thing of it turns out to be, it's like, how far do you let it go? You mentioned Rudy, and his punch. What about, Tyson and his biting off an ear? I mean, it's just a matter of time before Draymond or somebody who emulates Draymond's great style of play and all that does something that actually is going to hurt somebody. If he'd broke a rib, punctured a lung when he broke the rib. It didn't happen, but then it would be a whole different conversation, and it wouldn't be as funny as like when you first see a guy fall down a hole and then you laugh, but you don't realize how hurt he might be underneath. Hey, and by the way, I'm wearing high heels. I'll step on them.
John, we'll see you in 5. South Carolina, that's not too far.
You wish, John. I could tell that was a fantasy that you've worked out before.
John, thank you for the phone call. Appreciate that. What John's getting to is sportsmanship. Like, that's what this all boils down to. It's one thing for people to play hard, intense, aggressive, physical. We love that about sports, right? That's the great part about sports. We like it when the referees let guys play, let the women play. And it can get physical. What you don't like is when it gets to this bad sportsmanship. It's not sports to step on somebody. It's not sports to grab someone's foot either. I get that. But even Robert Horry, who just joined us before the 7-time NBA champion, Big Shot Bob, said that he's had guys grab his feet and grab his ankles.
Right.
And he even reached down and kind of like punched someone in the shoulder.
Yeah, he punched a dude in the shoulder.
But he said that's almost more of a basketball play. But he said, I've had that happen to me, but never someone stepping on your chest.
Well,
That's
Robert Horry is not Draymond. We know who Draymond Green is, and we know he does stuff like this.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is you can't rip Draymond for this and then praise him when he gets the other team all worked up in Game 6 of the NBA Finals, because I think it's all part of the same Draymond act.
Yeah.
I know it's unfortunate. And this is nothing. This is Game 3 of a somewhat meaningless first-round series in the sense that the Warriors are a 6 seed this year. Nobody has them as a favorite to get out of the title. If they lose, I don't think anyone's going to say, oh, they should have won that series.
I mean, listen, they're down 0-2 now, so the odds are definitely stacked against them. However, to go out in the first round and the year after a title defense, that's always rough. That's embarrassing.
It's so different, though, than the finals against Cleveland, where they were the favorites to win the NBA Finals.
And they were up 3-1.
This year is nothing like that. They've been a mess all year long. So this is nothing like the Warriors team from last year. Yeah, they're older. Yeah, I think the finals thing, that was one of the historically significant. That was one of the historically significant punishments in NBA history. Basically, that kind of cost him the series because he couldn't control himself.
Yeah, that and Amari Stoudemire leaving the bench.
I mean,
Sun Spurs.
Right. I think the Warriors just this year, they've been so off that I think it was I know it's an embarrassment. That's not the most embarrassing. We saw the Rams go 4-13 after winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but football, we expect more variance.
Yeah, I don't find this Warriors. You find this embarrassing for the Warriors?
I think so. I mean, credit to the Kings. Like, I'm not trying to take away from what they're doing. It's excellent. The crowd's insane. They deserve this. It's fun to watch, and this team is so likable. But yeah, I think when you go out in the first round of the year after a title defense, I mean, you're not proud of that.
Yeah, but weren't they were barely above 500 this year.
Yeah, I mean, the entire season was just...
Well, you blame them for the season, not for this. And honestly, if they had a home field advantage or home court advantage, they would probably win this one. But they just did not have it together this season. No Wiggins. And I'm sorry, they're getting old, Maggie. It happens.
Okay, so this was an interesting one from football. Can we listen to Ian Rappaport? So Ian Rappaport for NFL Network was talking about the latest with this Lamar Jackson situation. Like, we just don't know what's going on. First of all, I know I was out for this last week, but the idea that Lamar Jackson would make a 5-year commitment or not to a team because Odell Beckham has signed for 1 year is insane to me. Like, the fact that the Ravens signed Odell Beckham, I don't think has any bearing on whether or not Lamar Jackson actually signs with the Ravens. This is all about money. All about money. If they meet him at the number or they can agree on a number, then he'll be a Raven. If they can't, then he won't. Like, I don't think Odell moves. 1 year of Odell, is Odell even going to be healthy for the entire season? That's Lamar's going to be like, oh, okay, finally. You got me 33-year-old Odell Beckham Jr. coming off a second torn ACL. Hooray. I'll take less money now. No, that was never going to be the case, right?
I don't
disagree.
Rap Sheet and a lot of other insiders say that Lamar wanted D-Hop or Beckham, made it priority. Yeah, I mean, you're the one who
somebody.
He wants a receiver. Yeah, I think he needed I think it was a combination of things. I do think it's a goodwill gesture towards Lamar.
Okay, it's not exactly trading for A.J. Brown and then paying him or Tyreek Hill or Stephon Diggs. This is 1 year of injury-prone Odell Beckham Jr.
You know NFL players do not feel that way about Odell Beckham Jr.
No, but that's the reality.
That's not how they view Odell. He's a god amongst men in NFL locker rooms. Aaron Rodgers wanted Odell in New York Jets. NFL quarterbacks think Odell is great.
Yeah, but Aaron Rodgers wouldn't come to the New York Jets if it was Odell option number 1 and then a bunch of other dudes. He's there because Garrett Wilson and because of the other offensive weapons they have.
So why do you think, okay, you might be right, but then why did the Ravens sign him? There's only one possible explanation.
No, I think they're trying to make a gesture, but if I'm Lamar, that isn't going to all of a sudden sway me. It's got to be more than just Odell Beckham on 1 year, and the guy's old for a wide receiver. You think wide receivers cash out at 30.
I don't think people inside the league view Odell the way we do. I don't think Lamar Jackson is rational about Odell Beckham. I think he sees Odell Beckham and he probably kind of looks up to him because he's an icon in the NFL.
That's fine, but Odell is not the main piece. He's a third option.
I don't think that I think Lamar Jackson asked them in so many words to sign Odell, and I think it was a good faith gesture. I mean, I think, by the way, this has been a negotiation with the team. I think Lamar Jackson's, I would say, his feelings were hurt by the Ravens sort of lowballing. I think this is one of their ways of saying, like, hey, we want to make you happy.
Yeah, by signing Odell for 1 year.
Well, you keep saying that, but don't you realize,
But, there's life after this first year. You'd be signing on for, 5 years. So is that a really good faith gesture? Unless the Ravens have something else up their sleeve draft night like your Eagles did last year where they traded for A.J. Brown. But
I think if Lamar Jackson, if you put a bunch of wide receivers in front of him, you said Odell, D-Hop, say A.J. Brown, say so-and-so, I think he would pick Beckham.
I know, but it's just not a long-term solution.
Well, yeah, but it's something. Yeah, that's the other thing, too, where you're going to sign Odell Beckham, a 30-year-old, for 5 years. So
absolutely not.
So the Ravens said, at least we can make this low-risk move because it's only 1 year.
All right. I don't know. I always just thought it was about the money. But, okay, so here's Ian Rappaport.
Last year.
Sorry. Here's Ian Rappaport talking about what the Ravens offered Lamar last year. He said this on Pat McAfee.
So last year, before the season, the Ravens offered Lamar Jackson a deal that in APY, so average per year based on new money, did not match this. This is 51, that was 50. The deal they offered him was pretty strong. I mean, look at those numbers.
$200 million? Lamar Jackson's total guarantee was $200 million? We know that?
I believe that includes a kicker that would have kicked it in year 2, but obviously you're not going to cut him after 1 year, so I believe that is essentially the total guarantee.
I mean, if that's true, they essentially got to $200 million guaranteed. I'm surprised that wasn't enough to get it done.
Yeah, but even the report of 133 guaranteed was also framed. I think everyone's going off the same report. Is this new news about Lamar? I'm not quite sure.
We've never heard $200 million guaranteed.
Right,
that they offered that.
But remember, it was 133 with 180 injury guaranteed. But I think he also said that there was a shorter-term offer for 133. So maybe this is just the same report. Who is it that Josina or Kimberly Martin had? Somebody had it back.
Mortensen.
No, but a year ago.
Yeah, Mortensen.
Mortensen
and
had
Rossini.
Oh, right. Diana Rossini, 133. I think it's the same report. I don't think Ian's bringing a new thing to this. But we know Lamar's turning down a ton of money. He thinks he needs to be the highest paid quarterback, right? Same reason he doesn't have a shoe deal, because he's got to be the most unprecedented shoe deal of all time. So, right, isn't there something going on here where he has these demands?
It's like the plot of Air that we just watched with Matt Damon and Ben Affleck.
Literally, it's exactly the plot of Air. I mean, we know who had...
His mom, actually.
His mom negotiates.
Michael Jordan's mom.
I mean, I hate to say it, like, why doesn't he have a shoe deal?
I don't know.
Yes, you do. You know, because no shoe deal is good enough for Lamar Jackson's team.
Oh, I don't know about that. I just thought maybe I have no idea why he doesn't have a shoe deal.
Well, Adidas and Nike both offered him, and he said no.
Maybe he wants to do the LeVar Ball thing where he creates his own shoes.
He's 4 years in.
Big baller.
He's 4 or 5 years in the league. Where's the LeVar Ball shoes?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't think the LeVar Ball shoes ever even happened.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I don't know all the details, but there's clearly a different financial strategy with the Lamar Jackson team than every other player.
Yeah.
So who knows? He might have turned down that money.
Listen, I think the Jalen Hurts contract from yesterday, though, where he gets signed $51 million average per year and the basically $180 million guaranteed. I mean, the Ravens have to go to Lamar and probably say, like, look, the Deshaun thing was a one-off. Like, it's just not happening.
Right.
It didn't happen for Russell Wilson. It's not happening for Jalen Hurts, and it doesn't look like it's going to happen for Joe Burrow or Justin Herbert, but I don't know.
Here's the one thing that makes me hopeful. Lamar Jackson did say, I don't need it. He came out, he leaked, I don't need a guaranteed contract. So he is reading the market because no one's giving him $250 guaranteed. So he'll come back to earth. Is this all negotiation? Are we just following this for no reason because it's all going to get worked out?
Oh, it's cool. Odell Beckham's there. The Ravens' offense is fixed, everybody. Don't worry. Lamar doesn't have to shoulder the load. Do you think Odell's even playing all 17 games?
No, but I think Odell is a different kind of player. I think Odell is very attractive to Lamar Jackson. He wanted, first of all, too, compared to who was there before, Odell looks pretty good.
What do we think Odell's going to look like, honestly, coming off this ACL? Like, Jerry Jones, there's a reason why that flirtation happened and didn't go anywhere. It's because Odell couldn't play last year.
So it's 2 years off the ACL. I think it's just sort of a mentality thing. I think it'll give Lamar to have some confidence. At least, hey, I'm throwing Odell Beckham Jr. compared to Duvernay and who are the guys they've had. I mean, they've had such a bunch of scrubs at wide receiver. But next year, if Bateman is healthy, I think he's a really good player. Odell, Rashad Bateman, Mark Andrews. That's probably the best that Lamar has had.
Oh, definitely. But
so it's something.
855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. All right, a lot to do coming up, including the feel-good story that we've been waiting for. The culmination, maybe the last chapter. Not sure. We'll get to that in just a moment. Don't move. More Maggie and Perloff after this CBS Sports Update with Rich Ackerman.
CBS Sports Radio.
Sports Flash.
Well, the inspiring story of Damar Hamlin got another chapter today with Bill's safety being cleared to return to full football activities, and he is taking part in volunteer workouts with the Bills this week. Hamlin collapsed on the field January 2nd, and according to GM Brandon Beane, he received overwhelming approval to return.
They're all in agreement. It's not 2-1 or 3-1 or anything like that. They're all in lockstep of what this was, and that he is cleared, resume full activities just like anyone else who was coming back from an injury or whatever.
Tyler Hero of the Heat is undergoing surgery in his broken hand. He is likely out for the rest of the season. His recovery time set at 4 to 6 weeks. The Celtics go for 2 in a row against the Hawks after breezing through Game 1, while the Knicks stun the Cavaliers on Saturday, winning at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse. Game 2 comes up tonight. The Clippers also winning the series opener on the road, taking Game 1 from Phoenix. Game 2 this evening as well. Baseball today, and a twin bill in Detroit, where the Tigers lead the Guardians by a score of 1-0 top 7. They won Game 1 4-3, and right now, bottom of the 5th, it's Philadelphia, the 5-4 lead over the White Sox. I'm Rich Ackerman.
CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. 4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to Maggie Perloff. What a day. If you missed any part of the show, you can always check out the Maggie and Perloff podcast, wherever you get your podcast. Robert Horry joined us earlier, 7-time NBA champion. Not a fan of Draymond Green's antics from last night. According to Shams Charania, people close to Draymond do not think he's going to get suspended for Game 3. But obviously, all eyes going to be on Draymond.
Yeah.
I mean, they always are, but even now, I think they're going to be looking for a quick whistle to make sure this doesn't escalate.
And if you're the Kings, you try and be really physical, get into him and instigate. By the way, we never did the no one stepped on me.
Oh, I'll do that in the next break.
Okay.
Put it on social media. Should I just do it right now? Can we do the live stream? We're not going to be able to get it because you have to lay on the table.
And then you would have to step. That seems unsafe.
That seems unsafe, but I bet we could do it. Okay, first let's do our shot of the day.
He shoots!
And the shot of the day is brought to you by our wonderful, amazing friends at Casamigos Tequila. Casamigos is brought to you by those who drink it, people like me who love Casamigos. And this shot of the day today comes from earlier in the show when we found out Andrew Perloff, hero, warrior, super dad.
# warrior. I hurt my finger playing basketball 3 weeks ago, and then I
remember.
I re-dislocated it again last week.
Oh, man.
Doing laundry.
You should have left that part out.
Yes. That's like an MLB pitcher who cuts his hand because he opened a sliding glass door the wrong way, and it's obviously such BS.
Hurts his back picking up his toddler.
Yeah, right.
And Maggie, didn't Lindor break his pinky finger last year closing a hotel door room?
It's so stupid.
That
just
sounds bad.
tell us the lie.
No, but that one I can see happening. Those hotels when they slam.
How did it become unstabilized doing laundry?
Keeps dislocating, doing everyday things. So I picked up a towel or something, and I curved my hand around like this, and the rest of the fingers came back. The pinky did not come back.
Oh no!
I like Brian Baldinger fingers now. It's really bad.
God.
Yeah, this is not funny, by the way. But I did sound, when I reheard that, I realized how wimpy that sounded, that I injured my finger doing laundry.
Yes, and not only any finger, the pinky.
Yeah.
It's,
The other day, Miles Plumlee, I can't even remember, what team is Plumlee on? He's a Clipper? He's a Clipper or a Sun. He dislocated his pinky in the middle of the game. And I was like, oh, is he going to go to the surgeon? Then he goes to the sideline. Somebody looks at his hand. He's back in the game 2 minutes later with no tape on his hand. He dislocated. Yeah, what's going on here? For me, it's a 5-alarm fire. I don't understand it.
Well, you also said there that now you can't do a lot of household chores because of the pinky. And I feel like that's going to make you basically enemy number one in your own home.
Probably. But I was putting a fork into the dishwasher the other day and screamed out loud in agony.
But when you get a man down like that, then everyone's got to pick up the chores. You got preteen kids. They're not doing anything.
Well, there's certain chores that I can do that do not require hands.
What?
I don't know. What are the big chores? What are the chores? There's laundry.
Taking out the garbage.
I still could do that. I do that. That's
vacuuming, sweeping, mopping.
Yeah, my wife is more of a vacuumer. I am the
dishwasher load and unload.
I'm more the dishwasher guy. I do the dishes.
So you're gonna do those with your feet?
What's that?
You're gonna do those with your feet and
What
toes?
are we doing here?
The dishwasher, that is, honestly, that's the big issue in my house right now is can I continue to do the dishes with an injured pinky?
Okay, now the big question is, can we actually pull this off
I think
on
we can.
the live stream? Now, Stu, we're just throwing this at you, Pat. Do you think we can make this happen?
I will. So I have to lie on this table, and you're going to stand on my chest like
I'm just
Draymond
gonna
Green.
Step on it. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So
I actually worry about you more than me because I'm just lying flat.
I'm gonna be okay. Thank you for the music.
So I'm going to take my headphones off now.
Okay, you take the headphones
I'll
off.
point my mic towards where we're going.
And Stu, I think from now on we're gonna have to communicate with hand signals only. So, okay, Perloff's lying on the desk now.
I can commentate as you do it.
Okay, Pat, you take over. I'm taking my headphones out.
Perloff's headphones, Maggie Gray's headphones are off. Perloff's flat on the table. He's ready to be stomped on. Maggie is using the chair to boost herself up. She's up on the desk. Give him a stomp.
Are you gonna be all right?
I'm fine. I'm not scared of you.
Perloff's not scared. He's ready for it.
Okay, I think
I can't go next. I can't go this way.
Maggie wants to adjust the positioning.
first I have to grab your ankle.
Then I'm gonna step on you, and I'm gonna go right over your shoulder.
Okay, yeah.
Here we go.
This is a bad idea.
Let him have it.
Terrible idea. You ready?
Yeah. Oh!
Right over him. Perloff's in pain.
Oh, no.
I told you. It was going to hurt.
Scale of 1 to 10.
Scale of 1 to 10.
Oh.
How bad was that pain on a scale of 1 to 10?
On a scale of 1 to 10, how bad was the pain?
That was a 0. I was acting. That did not hurt at all. Just like Sabonis, nothing. That was a gentle massage.
That was my size 9 shoe.
Yeah, Maggie, you are not very heavy. I'm going to be.
I need a couple protein shakes.
That did not hurt that bad.
You didn't stomp, though. That was more just a stepping over.
I did. It was more. It was an Allen Iverson over Ty Lue situation, but I did step right on you.
You know,
I didn't have the heart to. I couldn't jump off you like Draymond did. I'd get hurt.
It didn't hurt at the moment, but I have to be honest. I feel a little compression in my chest, like a little.
See, I think
a little bit.
Got the wind
but it didn't. It wasn't like you punched me in the chest and I felt a bruise. But I do feel like the wind was a little bit knocked out of me, which I get.
Well, and think about this: they were actually engaged in something athletic to begin with, so they could have been like breathing heavy. You're out of breath, and then someone steps on you. You and I have just been sitting here.
Well, okay, but having seen that, you could tell Sabonis was flopping.
He was acting a little bit.
He was
acting
acting
mustard on.
Because it can't be that kind of pain. He was acting like he had a broken rib or something, and he clearly did not.
Hey, speaking of like odd, are they hurt? Are they not hurt? Have you seen the story about Russell Wilson? This is like bizarre. Why is this not getting more attention? We don't have a lot of details that he was involved in a golf cart accident where the golf cart, it looks like he drove it into a bunker and the cart tipped over. This is like the second highest paid player in the league, future Hall of Famer who just had knee surgery a month ago and got into a golf cart accident, and we've got nothing on it.
I am definitely short of breath right now.
Did I hurt you?
It's weird.
Oh, no.
I thought it didn't hurt at all, but I feel like a little bit of that.
What if I really hurt you? Then, man, we almost got in trouble with HR over the peanut butter thing. We didn't even ask about that.
No, it was maybe I was on radio, so I was amped up, kind of like Sabonis was. Like I was ready for something. I was ready for something a little bit worse, but I'm definitely feeling a little shortness of breath. And by the way, speaking of Russell Wilson, Russell Wilson had the same injury I did. He tore his ligament in his finger. I've had it many times. That's much like what happened to my pinky. So Russell Wilson he's a warrior like me, so he can deal with this kind of injury.
With a golf cart injury?
But here's my question.
Actually, he's not an injury. I don't want to say things that are fake. Apparently, he's fine, but we don't have any info.
He's reportedly fine. So what I want to know is this golf cart flipped and a photo went onto Reddit.
Yeah.
Then the photo disappeared.
Right.
Which makes me think, is there a cover-up of some kind going on here?
And no comment from the team.
Yeah, so the photo disappearing makes me think that he was injured and they are embarrassed about it.
And got the photo taken down.
Right. Otherwise, why would they get the photo taken down?
Yeah, if the photo's fake or if it wasn't him or whatever.
Oh, okay. I didn't think about that. So we're not verified that it was his?
No, but wouldn't the team come out and be like, Russell Wilson, no, nothing happened.
Yeah, and it also
They've said nothing.
Russell Wilson's on such a string of bad luck, you could almost believe something like this happened.
Man, you're so right about that.
Yeah.
I mean, and just had arthroscopic knee surgery on March 22nd, which to me was like, man, you're back on the golf course? Like, good for you. I've never had that kind of knee surgery, so I don't know. Maybe you're up and walking around the next day. Who knows?
Yeah, it seems like knee surgeries go really quick now. And you know how NFL quarterbacks are.
Yeah, I mean,
they're number
crazy
one,
about golf.
Their number one passion in life is golf, not football.
Yeah, voluntary workouts, whatever. Get me to the golf.
Yeah, if you're interviewing a quarterback at the combine and they say they love golf more than football, all the coaches would high five them probably because that's the one thing. We were with our buddy Case Keenum the other day. His passion for golf. I mean, he's very passionate about football.
Yeah.
He's so freaking good at golf, and he loves to play it so much.
Well, it was just funny because where we were, they kind of had like this mini golf thing set up, and you could just tell that Case wanted to play mini golf so bad.
What about Aaron Rodgers? Aaron Rodgers, no interest in OTAs, but he would rather do anything than miss the Tahoe tournament in July for golf.
You're so right.
Dude
Out of the dark.
Golf.
Won't go into the darkness until he's gone to the Tahoe thing.
He does not plan anything around OTAs. So, and apparently, I think Russell Wilson must be one of those guys too.
But like, can we get a little info?
I guess so. I don't know. It's hard to trust Russell Wilson not because he's a liar or anything, but just he puts this, this Russell Wilson presidential image forth. We don't know what he's really like.
Man, just hope he's not hurt. The team made a super investment in him. Okay, are you feeling all right?
Yes, I'm fine. I think I'm fine.
Stu, did we catch it on the live stream? How did we look?
did.
Wow.
Did it look painful?
No, didn't look painful at all.
Yeah, no,
She
Maggie,
jumped over you.
Yeah, you actually were very gentle.
It's quick.
Well, I didn't have a lot of space to work with here. It's not like I was on a basketball court.
Well, that's what I worry. If you had stomped on me like Draymond and fallen the wrong way, you were very high up. It could have been very dangerous.
That would have been bad.
Yeah, management would not have liked anything about that.
Let's just don't tell anybody what we just did. Thank you, Stu Kovacs. Thank you to Pat Boyle. Thank you to Rohan Nadkarni. To Robert Horry, who joined us, was fantastic. Thank you to the Weekdays.